Welcome back to another episode of Collector's Quest. I'm Tyler here with Johnny. Johnny, what's going on?
How are you, man? Long time no see.
Yeah. You know what? You're going to ask me what I've been doing, and I know you don't want to talk about it for too long, but we did just come back from the Midwest Gaming Classic. So
we did more than that. We hung out.
And we hung
even
out.
Before that.
We went and we got games. You found some 3DS games or DS games that no one has ever seen in their life before. There was a weird Wii double pack. Apparently your local game store is just full of like amazing stuff.
I took you to Game Dude, the biggest game store in the universe.
Like 10% of their entire stock was sealed. Like not good stuff, but just like kind of like the deal taverny, like kind of the stuff that's really available sealed. They just have it all just sitting there like, like $25 for like a bunch of random stupid Xbox games. I don't know. It's kind of nice because when you buy that kind of stuff on eBay, it always ships in a bubble mailer. So if you're looking for something nice, I would impulse buy so much crap I don't need if I lived near Game Dude.
I'm going in there. I'm cleaning it out. I'm sending it to CGC or WATA, and I'm making that money, Tyler. Time to make bread.
Perfect. Yeah, a lot of people are looking for ESPN NBA 2002. Oh wait, no, that is a good game. No, ESPN NBA Tonight is a good game. Let me think of one that's not worth any money. Damn.
Keep going.
Breakdown for the Xbox. Is that
okay?
Is that worth anything? That seems like a game they might have had there.
They did, and they have like a million Switch games and all the Wii games. They just got a bunch of stuff.
I saw a Super Monkey Ball Step and Roll double pack with a cardboard sleeve around it that I'd never seen before, and that was really cool, Johnny. And then you found Ben 10 Galactic Racing for the Nintendo DS with an action figure or something.
Yeah, with a little like rubber figure in it that I've never seen before in a big box and no one has ever seen. So if you've seen one, let me know. But yeah, it can't be found really on the internet. That's fun. You know, I love my little toys and games.
Someone's got to like that kind of stuff, I guess. Man, if I just liked anything with a weird pack in, I feel like I would just never stop buying stuff. And it would, I guess I already am in a state where I never stop buying stuff. I guess I already have my endless amount of stuff to buy, so I can't get into another rabbit hole of endless stuff to buy. Maybe I should consider a more constrained set, such as movie ticket variants, you know?
Yeah, there's only like 100 or so of those. Or more.
Easy.
And growing. Every time I look into it, I find more.
Johnny, then we went to the Midwest Gaming Classic.
We did. Well, first we went to Game Dude, and then we hung out at my house. We went to Magic Mountain. We played some video games. We did all kinds of things. And then we went to the Midwestern Gaming Classic. And we had a lovely flight. Thanks, Spirit Airlines. Very comfortable.
You said you didn't want to recap all the boring trip stuff. I thought we were just going to talk about the market. And now you're like, well, we hang out. We went to Six Flags. Let me tell you about my Spirit Airlines flight. It was uncomfortable.
I'm just getting us to where we are actually at the thing. That's all.
What were your vibes of the market? Because, we get like once a year. I don't know. I don't know if you get out more than this. I go like once or twice a year out with the people, and I see what the vendors have, and I get the vibes of what people are picking up and what games I see at the beginning of the show that aren't there at the end of the show. What were your vibes, Johnny?
Okay, so Midwestern Gaming Classic. Here's what I took away from it last year. It felt more like old school Portland. It wasn't quite as high end as Portland was the last time we'd been there, which admittedly was in the middle of the boom. And so it was nice to come down and be like, oh, people have junk bins again. You can look through that. I still think that was true, but I feel like the money or the product is running out, right? The stuff that people can get for cheap is running out because there's not like a couple of guys who specialize in imports anymore. Now it's like people just have a bunch of random imports in there because they're like, this is all I can afford to buy, and hopefully I can make a big return on. There was so much more of that kind of stuff just interspersed. And that's, what's not cool about that is, as much as I want to see more Japanese stuff, nobody has it. Like, you go to vendors who know what they have. Like, you go to Red the Game Shark, okay? Because he can tell you about what you're looking at. Okay, Michael Pitts, who's put some time and effort into it over at Lost Joystick Network. These people know what they're looking at. I go to a random vendor. I'm like, what is this game? They're like, I don't know. I don't read Japanese. You're like, cool, 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 cool. So you just bought a lot of stuff. You have no idea what it is. You priced it insanely and you just threw it in your booth because you hope you're going to make money. Then it's like, I can't really do anything with that. How do you sell something you don't have any understanding of at all and don't even know what the title is and have put zero effort into? So that was going on. And my other big takeaway, Tyler, is man, is Pokemon the most collectible thing that was ever invented ever? What is happening? Like every other booth was just like, oh, and also we have games, but have you seen these Pokemon cards? We have a lot of Pokemon cards.
Johnny, if there is one game that I saw, because we were walking around, we had vendor badges to completely brag about how we overpaid to get in. But yeah, we saw people setting up and everyone had a ton of Pokemon games and they were priced outrageously. Like I don't know what Pokemon games cost, so I just see, oh, it's a Game Boy Advance game. Oh, it's like the most common Game Boy Advance game. We're talking like Pokemon Fire Red, Pokemon Emerald, like they're like $700 each. There's some that are $1,000. Like the bad ones are like $300 or $400. And I'm not gonna say all of it was gone, but like half of that was gone. People wanted the Pokemon games.
Sunday walking around, I did not see the Pokemon games.
Pokemon is very popular, I will say. And you're contributing to that. You're getting your son weaned on Pokemon in multiple ways. You got the trading card game, you got the apps.
Yep, he loves it. What am I supposed to do? Kids love Pokemon.
I had a different take than your Japanese take. So there were clearly people who bought Japanese junk lots, threw them into bins, and are just getting whatever they can for them, which just feels so dumb. Like there's no reason to... Like, why would I dig through a bin of, like, Japanese junk at a convention when it's so easy and much cheaper to just get that, like, junk straight from Japan? Like, I understand if someone has something good, like, a Mega Drive shooter or a PC Engine game, like, something good, and like, oh, it's right here and I want it and I can look at it and this is like a $300 game. Like, I understand that. But, like, Sailor Moon CG collection for the Sega Saturn, bins full of, like, this junk, and there's like people digging through it. Like, what are you looking for? The Radiant Silver Gun? I guarantee it's not in there, dude. But there were people with good stuff. There were vendors like had tables and tables of nothing but like good PC Engine Mega Drive stuff. I mean, at least a couple vendors. I've complained that there's no Atari and that like old games are aging out and that video games are dead. A good amount of Atari. I think there was kind of a good amount of everything. You wanted 3DO games, you wanted Sega CD games, they were there. More vendors than ever have box protectors on stuff. I feel like vendors are like maybe kind of getting the memo that some of this stuff is worth money and like part of it is the condition, because you have these people that drag these tubs of things that have been dragged around for years and years and just gets in worse and worse condition, full of like dirty carts that no one will ever buy. I started seeing people, they had tubs of NES games and all the copies of like Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda had a cart protector or a baggie on them. Not every cartridge. It would be nice if we can get to the point where every cartridge has a little baggie, because it's a lot nicer to thumb through it when it doesn't have 40 years of grime on it. But hey, at least we're getting like the Marios and Zeldas protected out there. That was cool.
Yeah, I will say that was another takeaway I had was all the box protectors. Like we talked about it on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, finally. Like, I don't feel like I need to come with 1,000 box protectors. You still should.
I bought around 23 games. I didn't need a single box protector. They were all already in box protectors. It was awesome.
But you were buying good stuff.
I was buying good stuff. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't expensive stuff. It was, some of the games were like $30.
Yeah, there was good stuff, and I felt like the prices were pretty reasonable at a lot of places. Some places still had like dumb prices. Yeah, like, what are you going to do? There's always going to be those people. But I felt like there was a lot of booths with, like, some pretty fair prices. And as usual, people were willing to, like, make some deals if you ever asked them, Tyler, which you didn't.
You know what? I did ask someone. I bought, like, 3 games. And I said, what can you do for this? And I got, like, $10 off.
Oh, nice. Only $10?
It was so worth what I was paying. I feel bad asking. Dude, if I'm handing you a game, not only am I 100% willing to pay listing price, it's probably because I think you've underpriced it for some reason. Either it's like a variant or the condition is way too good, or you missed something, there's an insert in there. Like, there's a reason I'm buying it at a convention. I'm not doing it because I'm desperate to fill up my luggage, because that would be on Sunday night if I had room left in my luggage. But if it's like Saturday morning, I'm handing you a game, it's because, like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that game. So I feel bad being like, oh, will you take $50 off these, like, mint games for the NES that I've clearly picked out all your best stuff?
It's true. I will tell you, I enjoyed your strategy this year, though, for buying. And I know you employ this, like, pretty regularly, but I think it's smart, and I think you were doing the right thing. Your Tyler was very focused on, I'm going to find stuff in super nice condition because I know all these vendors are going to be at price charting, right? Like, everyone knows it's just going to be around price charting. But as price charting doesn't really factor condition, if you were going and you were buying mint stuff or very nice stuff, or any of the components are very nice at price charting prices, you're winning. That's like getting 20% off the game or more in some cases. So I thought that was really smart of you, by the way. I meant to compliment you on that.
It is crazy how much everyone prices games based on price charting. And so they're like the very few people, and they're going to be the people with, like, graded games who, like, understand this. Like, Jason Broussard was there. He's not going to price his games based on price charting. Everyone, even, like, people who seem like they're making a living doing this, were pricing really nice games, irrespective of condition and variant, based on price charting. The craziest thing I saw was some of the bigger booths, like the stores, they would have helpers in the booth who, like, clearly weren't video game people who knew, like, everything about video games. Like, not to stereotype based on how you look, but I could see you on literal price charting, like, with your price gun, just like, oh, this one's $63, choop. And that was crazy because one of the games I got under price charting in very good complete condition was Super Metroid. I buy a Super Metroid basically every convention because I'm always upgrading my Super Metroid. It was priced like 90% of price charting. And, like, Super Metroid is a game that will sell at price charting because it's such a popular game. Like, if you have the Magic of Scheherazade, maybe you have to discount that to sell it at a convention. Super Metroid, someone would have bought this Super Metroid if I didn't buy it. And, like, to not even have that level of understanding of what will sell is... Yeah, conventions are still a good place to buy video games. During the pandemic, when everyone was like, well, everything's going to the moon, let me just price stuff high and see what happens. Like, I don't think that was the best time to buy video games, but everyone seemed to have reasonable prices, and stuff wasn't immediately getting snapped up.
Yeah, things sat for a little while. It was kind of nice to be able to go through and see stuff. I wasn't buying too much crazy stuff, but yeah, it was good.
I mean, I saw things like Link to the Past and Zelda 1, Super Metroid, Super Mario Brothers 3, not as much Game Boy stuff, but there was a copy of Link's Awakening, just, like, stuff that there's, like, thousands of people here. You would think that someone is gonna buy this, and it wasn't selling. So do all the old guys already have all the common Nintendo stuff, or are the younger guys just not interested in old games?
I don't know. And I think the prices, even when they're good prices, are still a little bit intimidating for people on stuff.
You see, that could be it. Like, I'm used to the fact that Zelda 2, for a nice one, you're probably paying, like, I don't know, $200 for that, maybe $100 for a one that's a little beat up. And, like, someone might look at that and be like, well, for $150, like, think of how many Xbox games I could get. Think of how many Xbox 360 games I could get. Maybe people just aren't interested. Maybe NES is, like, really expensive, and I've had too much time to get used to the new prices.
We've been in it for too long, Tyler.
But it used to be that I was in it for so long that, like, all my price history was based in, like, 2008. Not, I'd remember when you can get a complete Super Mario Brothers for $15.
Like, I still remember that stuff, but I also have a different price memory in my head, which was 2021 and 2022. So now these two things conflict.
I saw a bunch of, like, 3 for $10, 4 for $10 Xbox 360 bins, which I thought Xbox 360 was having a moment, but it still seems like it's junk. This wasn't on the last day. I remember the last day of Portland once someone just marked all their Xbox games at $1. But just out the bat, they're just like, get rid of this junk. And it wasn't like junk, like Gears of War 2, like the common stupid games that an Xbox 360 person has. But like, who needs that?
Is this what like 1995 Nintendo collecting felt like? They're just like, just get it out of here.
Well, Johnny, that means that surely 20 years from now, all those games are going to be super collectible.
Surely, probably not. Not even all NES games are still collectible. We've covered that. But I did see people leaving with Xbox games. I know I saw one young kid like with a bag, like a Target bag, like a grocery bag full of 360 games, like overflowing. And he was like running out of the hall, like kind of cackling. Like he looked like he was getting away with something.
I mean, that
I looked at the kid. I was just like, I'm glad that kid feels like he caught someone slipping, he thinks, and he's feeling real good about it.
I mean, that was the great part. That great part. As someone who shopped exclusively out of the Funkoland $10 and under bin, I wanted to come out of Funkoland with 4 games. I had $20 and I was gonna get the most game for $1, no matter how bad those games are. Some of those kids, they're not like retro collectors. They're just like some kids there and they're like, oh, I could get some new video games. And like 4 for $10 for video games, that's pretty cheap because that kid probably had a small budget.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of fun. So
yeah, that's like, and I know you want to talk about this in an episode, but that kid was definitely having fun, right? He was doing it. He was having so much fun. Like that was like the gleeful, I got away with it. Look at all of my value. And I'm going to go, I have hours of gaming ahead of me now. There was another thing I noticed there, and just like what the audience looks like. And I don't know if this is always normal because this is like arcades. There's always people in the arcades. They're always packed. But I was going in, because we went in early and then I was leaving around 10 o'clock. It was when we were going to get breakfast. But I walked past the arcade, which they hadn't started letting people in yet. Tyler, there was a huge line to get into the arcade. So like they were already letting people in the vendor hall, but they were holding people outside of the arcade. And there was a big line to still get in. Like people were going to be in that line for at least an hour. I was like, oh, that's interesting. The arcade is full. They're holding people because it's over capacity. And like, there's 3 stories of like arcades. So I don't know what's going on.
I think that they lucked out with the name Midwest Gaming Classic, which I'm sure 20 years ago, the Classic was really pulling a lot of weight there in like, oh, we're the Classic Game Expo. We're the big one. And now I think a lot of people just seem like they're there for games. People are there. Oh, it's the gaming convention. Oh, I live in Milwaukee. Oh, I live in Chicago. Let's go check out the gaming convention. Let's play some old arcade games and pinball. And it seemed like just a lot of that. And at Portland, a lot more of the vibes, and it is the size of the vendor floor versus the size of the arcade. There are 10,000 nerds there, and they're there to buy video games.
They are aggressive.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. But overall, I had a nice time at the show. It was nice to see all of the people who came out. A lot of our Patreons were there. A lot of friends were there. We had a good time.
We sure did. Everyone was there. I'm not going to list everybody, but you were there. We met each other. It was awesome.
If you guys were there, we saw you and we had a really nice time. It was good to see everyone. It's always nice to see everyone.
Now, Johnny, now that we have bought... we'll get to it and what you're buying. Ugh. Now that we have bought a bunch of new junk and brought it home, I think it's time for some spring cleaning. Maybe out with the old and in with the new.
I mean, it is the time. We are in the month of April. Spring is here just about. Like, let's get into it. Oh, wait, are we already in spring? Do we officially have the equinox?
My lawn is green, so I'm going to say yes. And everything got blasted with pollen. It was a disaster, so.
Nice.
Love
pollen.
So I was thinking, like, what's a spring cleaning episode going to be? Like, get rid of your old junk you have lying around, idiot. Like, is there more to it than that? And as I started listing stuff, I'm like, yeah, we could do a whole episode on this, Johnny. We need to people have had stuff on their to-do list for too long, and we could just bring all those up and make them feel bad and maybe get someone off their ass to actually get their collecting to-do list stuff done.
So this is simultaneously get rid of some bullshit and fix your room?
Get your stuff in order. There is more to game collecting than buying games, man. Like, it's a hobby. Like, it can't just be 100% consumption. You gotta enjoy the stuff you have. You gotta curate. There's more to a collecting hobby than just clicking buy it now. And I know clicking buy it now is the most fun part. So if you just distill it down to the dopamine, you just keep clicking buy, you shove it in a box in the corner and you never think about it again. And yes, you do get a lot of dopamine doing that, but you're creating problems for yourself down the road, because then you have $100,000 of expensive old video games sitting in a box that you don't look at and you don't really care about, because all you're looking for is the next thing to add to that box.
Yeah, you know what? As the hobby has gone on for me, the more I'm like making lists and improving my list, I find the dopamine from that longer lasting and more satisfying. Like when I'm like, oh yeah, finally got that shit taken care of. I feel so much better about X, Y, or Z. I'll list some examples later, but yeah, it is definitely a part of the hobby you got to get comfortable with, and it'll save you money in the long run, and it will fill up your day.
It will save you money. Enjoying the stuff you already have, it will save you money, and that's what we're buying it for. We're buying it to enjoy it. We played a bunch of games. We didn't download the ISOs off Coolarom.com. We went and got your copy of D and the Fireman, and we opened up the box and we read the manual. We're actually enjoying the games because that's what we bought it for. Theoretically, in our 17-year-old head when we were buying all these, we were like, we're going to have all the video games so we could play all the video games.
We did. We did the thing, Tyler. We achieved 13-year-old peak when we were together. We went to an amusement park and we played video games and ate candy. It doesn't get much more 13-year-old than that.
It was pretty great. But on this note, I do want to say, when I buy an expensive game, the first expensive game I ever bought was Radiant Silvergun. I played the shit out of it because it was $200. It's still $200. It might be cheaper now, but this was like 20 years ago. It was a $200 video game, which was insane for a video game back then. I thought it was like one of the top 10 most collectible games you could possibly own. And now I know, like, it's not rare, and it's just kind of a shooter, a beloved shooter, but it's one of many beloved games. But because I played it so much, I never felt it was never like this overly precious thing. It was just like, okay, I actually got my money out of it. And every time I actually play one of my games, which I realize I don't play most of my games, but when I'm in the mood to play like an NES game, a new NES game, and I pick it off the shelf and I take it out of the box, I read the manual and all that, I like 100% feel like I got my money out of it, no matter what it cost. And one of the games we played was The Fireman for Super Nintendo, which I think, what is that, like a $400 game?
No, because we played the PAL version, which is more expensive.
$600? It's an expensive game. And we played it for like 4 or 5 hours. But because I have that experience, and I won't forget that experience, that was worth it. Because how many hundreds of dollars have we spent on games that we will never play?
Never, and in some cases can't play. Don't have the ability to.
Yes, your X68000 games, Johnny.
Yes. By the way, I've got a Radiant Silvergun here with Obi. Not in great shape, but I can get it for $150. And there's a bunch around $200.
So, that goes into the theme that all the things you do when you're a new collector are wrong. And usually, even the worst purchases you made 20 years ago will be incredible now, if you don't account for inflation and opportunity cost and all that. But Radiant Silvergun has somehow gone down. And I guess I'm just scrolling through listings. It is here, incredibly
186 common. Right here. And I'm not on Zen Market. I'm on eBay.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of copies, it turns out.
Yep. It turns out a lot of people bought this, and this game sold a ton. And we're not here to disparage the prominence of Radiant Silvergun. Still a great game. You should still own one. But Yeah, don't overpay for it, I guess. Not a great investment, as it turns out.
Not a great investment. Johnny, I've got a VGA 90. Let me brag about that.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. First thing, we're going back to basics, Johnny. Reevaluate your want list. This is our first spring cleaning line item. Or if you don't have one, it is time to make a want list. Because, it's fun to go to conventions and be like, ooh, good deal, good deal. Oh, wow, that looks really nice. Maybe I should get this copy of Championship Bowling. It's got the shrink wrap on it still. It's only $20. And I'm using that as an example because it is the one of the few games I passed up that was like, oh, man, this is real nice. Don't need a Mint Championship Bowling in my life. But just sit down. Even if you're working on a set, come up with the top 10 or 20 games that you want, prioritize them. And if you just have an extra $100, you need to spend it on something, try to prioritize that money towards the thing at the very top of your want list. Because if you want The Firemen for Super Nintendo, and it's a $600 game now, and you might have to save up for that. If you spend that extra $100 you have every month to spend on stupid video games, you will very easily find something neat to spend $100 on, no matter what. So you have to keep your want list ordered and prioritized to remind yourself, oh, I have to save up so I could get The Fireman because it's the number one thing I want for some reason.
Yeah, and it should be. What a fun game The Fireman is.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, the thing I want most will be something that's just like not available. It'll be like some variant or something, and I can't get it. But then eventually, I'll get down to something that it's at the top of my want list, or it's near the top of my want list, and it's not there because it's super rare. It's just there because it's super expensive, and that means I would rather have that than the 6 copies of Tecmo Super Bowl or equivalent stupid thing that I could pick up for the same price. Create a want list. I think it's super important, and it will hopefully help you buy less and more intentionally.
Yes, absolutely this, Tyler. Long have we preached having a want list and having a priority list. Look, that doesn't mean you pass up a great deal. Like, you should also reevaluate where prices are in the market so you know what's going on. Like, you can't just... If the market is trending down, you got to know. You have to incorporate this. Like, make this part of your search, like your spring cleaning. Clean out all of your old price data and be familiar with what's going on in the market. And if you're going to go buy anything expensive, know how and what you can and can't negotiate for, especially if you're looking at things like condition. So be savvy when we're out there, especially if you're spending a lot of money. And as Tyler said, prioritize those things at the top of your list if you can. That doesn't mean if you see a great deal that you should leave it alone because it's not at the top of your list, but you should evaluate if just because it's a good deal you're buying it. Like, if it's not filling in any of your goals anywhere, don't buy it just because it's a good deal. That's the wrong way to do things for a collecting standpoint.
I agree. Johnny, on this same note, maybe take that want list and fix your saved searches and clear out your old saved searches. I don't know. Maybe this is a sanity thing for myself. I have a saved search. I'll have it for 8 months. I finally get a hit. It's the perfect thing. It's the variant. It's the price I want to pay. I win it. And then I don't delete the saved search. Ooh. And then another one will come up, and it'll just be like, it won't be like one of these things that hits me every day, because I get annoyed at emails I get every day. I tend to clear those out more frequently. But then like another 8 months pass, and I get the same save search, and it'll be like 60% of the price I paid for the first one. And it'll be like such a good deal that I just buy another one. And now I have 2 of this rare, weird thing that no one cares about. So maybe if you also do that and you buy duplicates you don't need, I don't know if I'm talking to no one here. I do this a lot. So maybe go and clear out your save searches. Set up some new save searches for the stuff you actually want.
That would be good. And we've talked about, there's no better feeling, like in gaming, than deleting a save search. Oh my God. What a satisfying delete that is. You're just like, finally, get out of here. I never have to look at this. And if you're like me, especially now, And there's another reason to just go through and revise your list, because eBay and its infinite wisdom has ruined searching. So you got to go in there and fix up those lists anyway. So go clean that up and then get rid of the ones that don't matter anymore. Like a lot of times I'm searching for a game, I have 4 different save searches for the same stupid game. So if I can clear out like 4 things, man, that feels so good. And don't be in such a rush to just add something to your new want list anyways. You're going to find something. You don't have to delete something to add something.
That's a good point, actually. That's something I haven't done that I need to do. So a lot of my save searches are formatted for the old eBay search algorithm where you could put terms in parentheses and you could put like Game Boy 1 word, comma, Game Boy 2 words, because a lot of people list it either way. And I don't know if that works anymore because eBay's algorithm sucks now. It definitely doesn't work when you put it in the regular search bar. So maybe you have to go and clean up your save searches from stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, just a thing for you to consider is the state of your lists and whether you need to be fixing them or not.
Just scrolling through my save searches right now, Johnny, I had 4 different Pong save searches. They weren't all exactly the same, but I absolutely need none of them.
Wonderful. Get rid of them.
Something more concrete and obvious, Johnny, we're going to fix our piles of stuff on the floor. That is, you guys have your piles of stuff on the floor. You know what, Johnny, you have a lot of video games. I was just over your house for the first time. I think a lot of people would come in and be like, oh my God, this is a disaster. Oh, you got a whole closet that's 100% jam-packed. It's like a walk-in closet that you cannot walk into. Jam-packed with video games in crates, like organized though.
Yes.
I was impressed with how little you had just like on the floor. And you would like go into your living room, you'd like open up a cabinet and you'd be like, look, it's all Switch games. Ah! But I would be like, oh, look, they're put away. They're hidden behind a door. This is actually kind of nice, Johnny. I have piles of stuff. I have the semi-organized stuff in crates stacked and put away against a wall somewhere. I just have like stuff on the floor, stuff sitting on shelves, stuff sitting on desks. I know a lot of you guys have it too. I see you guys with your cropped Instagram pictures where you're like, let me take a picture of the nice part of the room because, oh my God, this part of the room. This is us, taking a hard look at you being like, look, I understand, but we got to do something about it. And you know what? Just going on eBay and buying more stuff is not going to fix the problem. If you actually take the time to like organize stuff, put it on shelves, double stack your shelves. You know what? Double stacking is so much nicer than having stuff on the floor. Or get some really useful boxes. Our sponsored plastic tote brand, really useful boxes.
Super useful.
I do love them. I love that Johnny has them. Yeah, just get the stuff off the floor. Clean up your game room. It literally, it's one of these things where you avoid it. You have like this avoidant behavior and you put it off and then you start doing it and it probably will take you like 2 hours. You'll be like, wow, I thought this was going to be like a 6-month project. And no, you've just been avoiding it because you don't want to do it and you'll feel way happier once it's done.
100%, Tyler. I will say this. I hate double stack shelves, but do you know what is worse? Is piles on the floor. Double stack your shelves. Maximize the space you have. It's unfortunate, but you can do this thing where you know what is behind the things, right? So I have a cabinet like in my living room that's like double stacked with Switch games. I take a picture of what's behind it. I'm like, all right, put everything in there, take a picture. I know what's in there. Like have some sort of way that, you're like, well, if I put something back there, I won't ever know. Like you have thumbs and hands and a computer and all of these tools. You have ways to know what is behind something without having to visually put your eyes on it. We've created systems, and I invite you to use them now. You have permission.
All right, if you're at the point where you have so much stuff that you have to consider double stacking your shelves, by the way, IKEA Billy bookcase is perfect. You could double stack DVDs, you could double stack NES games. They're just a beautiful size for this. You have games you don't care about. I'm sorry to let you know.
Yes.
If you're like 1,000 plus on the video game scale, you don't care about all your games. Because you know what? I've got the shelf in my office has a bunch of complete box Nintendo games, NES games, and then behind it are just a bunch of Xbox 360 games because I don't care about those, but I have them. So That's what my double stack situation is like. Or if you have like, you have like a bunch of Sega Saturn games, guess what? Half your Sega Saturn games, I'm sorry to tell you, you don't actually care about half your Sega Saturn games. Unless you have the curated guy, you're the curated guy and you've got 12 Sega Saturn games and they're all bangers. If you are just like a trash lord, and we're out there, I'm one of you, half your Sega Saturn games suck and you can put just the good ones in front and the bad ones that you're never, I understand it looks more impressive if you can see every single game. But if you're at the point where on the floor, it doesn't look impressive anymore. You can't, if you have to crop your pictures for Instagram to like avoid the bad parts of your room where like there's just unorganized piles and cardboard boxes and stuff, we're past the point of caring about display. So hide that stuff if you have to, Johnny.
Yeah. Hey, guess what? That dance aerobics you have for the NES, no one gives a shit. Especially not you. So put it behind something.
Johnny, my cart.
Put your good games.
God, my dance aerobics cart. It's like a 10 out of 10. Are you kidding me?
Oh, cool. Someone care about that?
I do. It's the last NES game I opened sealed. I bought a water damaged one to upgrade my busted cartridge, and it's so nice, Johnny.
Oh, I'm glad you got the moldy one. That's probably got mold inside of it, just rotting away.
The cart was perfect. It was wrapped up in this beautiful bag, and it was perfect, Johnny. And I threw away the box.
Mold definitely just isn't insidious and doesn't grow through bags.
Joe, going back to Midwest Gaming Classic, Joe is a better collector than me, because Joe, when he was like looking at the nice games, he was taking all the stuff out and then like using a flashlight and looking for mold on the inside of boxes. Like, yeah, you guys don't inspect your games. You haven't taken out like the styrofoam blocks in all your NES games to look for mold damage on the bottom of that copy of Magic Darts. You never know. You might have to upgrade all your games now because you didn't look for damage enough.
You don't want mold.
You definitely don't want
Okay.
mold.
Well, let's talk about this, Tyler. This is a thing that you really should do, and that's get yourself a box and put all of your bullshit doubles in it. Get rid of it. Put all the stuff that you're done with, your bullshit doubles, especially your doubles. Get it in a box. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Sell it. List it on eBay. Take it to a local show. They have lots of trade events. Look, these are doubles. If you've already paid for them, you're probably like, unless you're a reseller and you've got the mentality of, oh, I've got so much into this. I know I need to get this much out. But if this is just stuff you picked up in lots a couple of years back, like that money is long spent and gone. If you can take that pile of stuff and trade it for money, what you put back into your collection, or just money to pay a bill or anything else, or you, heaven forbid, you go to a trade event and take all that bullshit and get something you actually want, like, even if you trade down a little bit, like, you're not losing. If you can take 10 things and get one cool thing for it, you are winning. You are winning. Let me tell you again, 10 things you don't care about for one thing you want. It's a win. It's a win.
Johnny, I've got a really cool strategy for this. This is also kind of one of the most important things you should do is get rid of the stuff you don't want. If you've been collecting for a while, I don't know, more than 6 months, you probably have some stuff that isn't in good condition that you've probably maybe upgraded or you're gonna upgrade, or just like, I don't know, you got a lot of Atari 2600 cartridges and you got these 3 carts that don't have end labels. Or, you have that weird cartridge of Rocking Cats is a bad example. Maybe that still has value. What's something that's like almost like Mega Man 2? You got a Mega Man 2 cartridge, but like half the label's ripped off. Like it's clearly a copy that no one's ever going to want. You could take that stuff. I'm talking your Xbox games that you upgraded because there's like 3 different GameStop stickers on the case. Your Sega Genesis games that don't have manuals. Basically, the stuff that not only a serious collector wouldn't want, but basically any collector wouldn't want. There aren't that many people who go for the absolute cheapest copy of a Sega Genesis game that doesn't have a manual, or a totally ripped up Mega Man 2, even if there's a serious discount. You could take that stuff and do what your mom would do and take it to Goodwill. It's literally not worth the effort to try to sell a lot of that stuff. I've got a whole case. I got like a really useful box. I've got like probably 40 Sega CD and Saturn games, and they all have like busted cases. They're all the games that I use to scavenge cases from. And like maybe there's one or two good games in there, but it's like sports games. It's like, NFL sports trivia, stuff like that. And they all have no manuals or busted cases, and I'm just going to donate them to Goodwill. It literally isn't worth my time to ship it. And like, what am I going to do? I'm going to like start bubble wrapping up these busted cases and ship this 16-pound package to someone so they can have a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, please. Can you send
just
it to
get
me?
it
I
out of
need
your
more
game
garbage.
room. You know what? Go through your shelf. You might, I have this, I'm thinking of like what I need to do. It's like on my to-do list. I have this completely busted up copy of Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4. I think that's what it is on Super Nintendo. Or no, it's like, maybe it's a Nobunaga's Ambition game. But like edgeware on every single side of the box. It looks like it was run over by a car. But I got it at some point in my life. I was just like, well, it technically has the box, so I might as well keep it. I will literally just go and throw that out. I'll go donate it, and someone will be really happy to find a busted up Super Nintendo game at Goodwill.
I know a guy who was into Koei games that you could probably send that to.
No, it's not good enough.
He might want it.
Your collection. So again, like you said, Johnny, you have already spent this money. Some of this stuff I bought in like 2009 or something. I have forgotten the money I spent on it. Yes, I could probably get $10 back for that stupid busted up game if I could find someone to sell it. Like I could probably put it up and buy it now and it might not sell for a while. Or I could just not deal with that. I could not create a job for myself selling garbage and literally get rid of it. Because you know what? When I die, my family, if they're going to have to deal with my stuff, even if Johnny, you came over to the house and you were like, okay, let's like sort out everything that's worth over like $200 so we know what stuff to like actually care about and sell individually. And then the rest of this stuff, like, sell it to GameStop. This is the stuff that's going to get thrown out anyway. This is the stuff that's going to get cleared out. No one's going to care about this when you die. So why should you care about it now? If you were going through an estate sale lot, this would be the stuff you throw it to the side. So it's not special just because you own it already. That's the endowment effect, by the way. We're gonna have an episode on that stuff soon. But yeah, throw out your garbage. Don't try to sell your garbage. Just get rid of your garbage.
I see, like stuff like that to me is perfect for a trade event because you take it, and if no one wants to trade for it or no one wants to come and buy it for like the cheapest price you can put it at, then that tells you that no one wants it. You've proven to yourself that no one's going to take it, and now go get rid of it.
Well, I'm not gonna waste my entire day. The whole point is that I don't want to deal with it.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience that might have trade shows. Like we have some trade events around me. I can take my box full of like nonsense stuff because remember, you know how we were trash lords and still kind of are? There are people who are just starting and they don't know better. Okay. And they need this experience to be like, oh, I fucked up. This was wrong. Now I need to move on with my life.
So what I would do, like all this stuff, like, man, if you have any Sega Genesis game without a manual, and this is not a criticism for if you like bought a Genesis game without a manual, but like the manual is so much of the value just because the cases are so durable and the manuals are the things that fall out because they don't hold the manuals that well. It just like has no value to me because it's so frustrating and the manuals themselves are so expensive to complete it that I would just like go and I would like flat mark everything at $1. And then I'd go to that trade event, I'd sit at that table, and if someone comes up to me and hands me $1 for that copy of Streets of Rage, I'd be like, you really shouldn't buy this. It just doesn't have the manual. Don't you think you should just like go and pay a few extra bucks for a complete one? Wouldn't that make you happier? And I would try to talk everyone out of buying all my stuff.
No, because you're talking to the wrong people, right? There are people who don't value any of this stuff. They do just want the game or they do just want the box. At one point in my life, and even for a long time, and I still struggle with it, like I don't really care about manuals. I do now, right? I've gone completely the other way around and become insane, but I was like, I just didn't value them because I didn't display a manual. I never read the manual. I wanted the game because you play it. I want the box because I see it. Like those are the two things. But as you collect and you become a better collector, you're like, oh, no. There's a whole different mechanism actually in place. But some people are never going to care about that. And they just want to play the game. And they're like, oh, I kind of want it in the box, but I don't really care. Like, let them decide what they care about. For collectors, like if you're going hard on Genesis, don't just collect the cart. I would prefer you collect cart and box at least. But Like really, if you're going, if it's something you really care about, get the manual. So I agree with your sentiment, but there are other people. We have to remember there's an audience in games. This is the people who were all lined up for that arcade, not even going to the show floor on Saturday morning when it opened, Tyler. It opened and people were like, nah, I'm going to go into the arcade. All the deals are leaving. And these people are like, no, you don't understand. There's an arcade right here. And this is what I'm here for.
Lots of really good pinball, Johnny. Come on.
Also, those stupid boxes, oh my God, the biggest, dumbest box you could buy for like $25 full of something random. The mystery boxes.
Don't buy mystery boxes at conventions.
That I want to tell you, don't ever do this. Please. I beg you. If I'm standing next to you and we are walking past that booth and you're like, I think I'm going to buy this mystery box, I will probably give you $1 not to buy it. Okay. Just like, here's $5. Please stop that. Please don't do that. Our lives will both be better if you don't buy that.
I saw someone trying to sell Famicom cartridge mystery boxes, which is an idea I had to get rid of my loose Famicom games. And the thing is, I have good loose Famicom games. Like like half of it's from Lost, but I did a lot of that stuff like individually. Like, oh, these are like the English playable like stuff, or it's like Ninja Gaiden or like Super Mario Brothers, Zelda. Well, not Zelda. And I was just like, what if I just like put 4 cartridges in a bag for $10? And that's exactly what I found. I'll probably put 4 cartridges in the bag for $5. But I found some guy who was trying to sell 4 random Famicom cartridges for $10, but it was on top of a Famicom bin that was like 100% junk. Like there's a lot of junk loose Famicom games, and obviously no one was buying them. So now I don't think that's a good idea anymore. Because I think like if someone saw my mystery bags, they'd just assume like, oh, he's trying to get rid of his worst stuff. But I'm not. I just want to get rid of this stuff, and I want to make it gambling fun.
Well, I think when you set up things like that, you kind of have to show like a board of like, here's all the things that you could possibly get. Like,
I'm not going to have something expensive in there. It's just not going to be junk. Like, you're going to be happy.
I understand that, but I don't think that strategy works anymore. I think you got to go on like, hey guys, you're gambling now. Who's going to be the winner?
Man, one of them has a Super Famicom game in it. Going back, I do want to tell this story. I was going to skip it, but now I got to tell it because you brought it up. About how different people, have different things they need out of collecting. And some people, they want the game to play and the box to display. And, that's it. And if they can get it for a good price, that's fine. Our friend, Mike, really likes, or he brings all of his extra Super Famicom stuff to this show. And a lot of it ends up not having manuals because it's like the extra stuff that he has. And I was talking with Jay. There was a copy sitting on the table. It was a Super Mario RPG. Didn't have a manual, but it wasn't even marked as not having a manual. It was $20. It was just carton box. And I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, Jay, no one's going to buy that. It doesn't have the manual. Like, who is coming here looking for something as specific as a Japanese copy of Mario RPG and is like, oh, but I'll accept it without the manual. Also, Mario RPG is like a balls common game. There is no reason to buy it without a manual. And Jay just looks at me and he's like, Tyler, some people are just buying it for display. I'm like, what? Who's buying a Super Famicom game for like display, like a statue? 60 seconds later, someone comes and he picks up 2 Super Famicom games, including the Mario RPG, which we have not put a sticker on saying it doesn't have the manual yet. And I say, oh, sorry about that one. That one doesn't have the manual. And the guy's like, that's fine. It's just for display. And I got refuted in 1 minute.
1 minute.
So you're right.
Hilariously. Just perfect. And what a perfect moment to show you the dichotomy of collectors.
The people are out here who do not care about manuals.
And there are some people who just, even though they know better, will still do it wrong. And that's where we're here to help them. And since we didn't bring this up in the recap, but we have to talk about our other friend, Michael, for a second, who bought a Blazing Lasers. Tyler, do you want to explain what happened with Blazing Lasers?
Michael, different Mike. He's a big, the analog Game Boy thing. Analog Pocket.
Yeah.
They got the adapter where you could play Hue cards in them or turbo chips.
Yes.
And so he wanted Blazing Lasers just to play it on his little his Analog Pocket. And
but he's a collector. He is a collector.
He's a collector. Patreon of the show listens to this show. Huge like NES guy's got like a 200 episode YouTube series on NES programming. Just gigantic nerd. And he hears all the stuff we say every single week.
Yeah. Really good guy, really smart guy, knows better, good collector in general.
And I don't know if this was at all inspired from the TurboGrafx episode where we did put Blazing Lasers, at least in my top 10 of games you should buy. And he bought a loose turbo chip of Blazing Lasers for $45. And
exactly what we said never to buy.
When I say, like, there was everything, there must have been 4 copies of Blazing Lasers I saw on the floor. Like, every console was represented, especially the common stuff. I think there were, like, 2 complete in case Blazing Lasers and 2 complete in box Blazing Lasers. I don't even know where he found the loose one. Who's digging through loose TurboGrafx games?
I don't know.
And, we gave him enough shit for it. That, well, really, we gave him shit, and then, like, immediately, like, an hour later, he ended up selling it for $5 more than he paid for it. Some vendor bought it for more money than he paid. What vendor is paying for loose TurboGrafx games? And then he got it complete in box, or complete in case for $90. So less than double the price to get the nice thing that you could actually put on your shelf. Yep. And he made the right choice the second time. And you know what? It ended up being good because he actually made a profit.
Yes, but this is my point, is even experienced collectors kind of need these reminders. We need these reminders. We're all still trash lords at heart. We all are just hoarding. So take a second, breathe, and embrace the idea of spring cleaning and collecting better. It's 2025. Who knows what this year is going to be like? It's already been wild as far as tariffs and everything else. We're not trying to get political, but the world is in a flux, an economic flux, and we don't know what's going to happen. So be the best collector you can be. That doesn't mean acquire the most things, but that means be as smart as you can possibly be with your purchases.
Johnny, going back to the complete in box and cart stuff, I have a lot of cartridges. I collected primarily cartridges for a long time because I wanted sets. I couldn't afford like complete in box NES or Super Nintendo set, and that's great. You know, I'm not even going to complain about cartridges for complete in box. Yes, I think complete in box is a better deal overall, but if you're choosing between cartridge boxed and complete in box, like if you're going to get like a crappy complete in box or like an incomplete thing, just save yourself the trouble. Just buy the cartridge. Because I think if you're buying it complete, just get it nice and actually complete. Because no matter what, if you get like a 6 out of 10 box, or you get something without the poster or the registration card or the rare insert, and it's like, oh, but it's like $80 cheaper, like it's missing all like the bits in the box, but like I don't care about that. If you're going down the collector pipeline and you started out with cartridges and now you're getting this kind of crappy complete in box, let me tell you, brother, in 5 years, you're gonna wish you bought the better complete in box. So just don't buy the shitty one now. Buy fewer games and just buy the one that's actually complete. Buy the one that's actually in good condition. Save yourself the hassle. Me and Johnny are both dealing with mistakes we made almost 20 years ago. Johnny just bought all the manuals ever because he didn't buy SNES manuals because he's a crazy person. I'm over here upgrading a lot of my stuff into just better condition. And you know what? I don't even need stuff in super mint condition, but I try to find stuff that's in super mint condition in case I ever get to the point where I would be like, oh, I really want this Rescue the Embassy mission to be in like 9 out of 10 condition. Save yourself the hassle. You will become a pickier collector if you stick with this.
Yes. As you go on in life, you will get better at this, and what you want will change. And if you ever start paring stuff down, it's going to be easier to sell super nice stuff because condition always demands a premium. Good condition stuff. People always want it more. It's always the stuff to go quickly. This event, all the guys I know, what were they after? It wasn't like they were after like, oh, I got to find this game specifically. They were just like, where is nice stuff? I'm still a trash lord at heart, but where's the nice stuff? I want to buy all the nicest things I can find. Meaning, like, how nice does this still have cellophane on it? Is it super mint, clean edges, all the components, special inserts? I'm buying that stuff. Sometimes, like, that is their whole goal. They don't have a specific game on their list. They're just like, I want to buy some Super Nintendo games, and I want them all to be beautiful. That's it. So keep that in mind as you go on your collecting journey, that you'll probably want nicer stuff, and in the end, you'll do better with it.
Man, that $1,000 copy of Pokemon Emerald, I'm pretty sure it was gone, the one I'm thinking of. That's $1,000 for a Pokemon Emerald.
Was it the big box Emerald or just a regular Emerald?
It was just a really nice, regular GBA copy.
Man, I bet you're really happy about your really nice Pokemon purchase you made last year there. Didn't you bought a really nice yellow?
Johnny, no, I bought like a really nice red.
Was it red? Oh, okay.
It was red. Johnny, that's not the games that people want. People want the GBA games more, I think. Which is crazy. Like, it's crazy because I think Pokemon Red and Blue, even as someone who's like not really into Pokemon Red and Blue, the video games, should be like in the top 100 collectibles of all time, because Pokemon is so big. Everyone's into cards and games and apps and everything. And like the original two games that kind of started it all, people are just like, those aren't even the most expensive Game Boy games, dude.
Have we done an episode? I know we've done like collectible stuff. Have we ever just like straight up listicled like the 50 most collectible video game items?
No, let's do it. Put it on the list. That's so clickable. People would love that.
Yeah. And then people can fight us because I know we'll get it wrong. But I'm also in the middle of making, as one of the things I wanted us to do, but we didn't have time and we were hanging out. But I'm working on the index for video games, and I'm going to need your help with that.
Okay. Johnny.
Yep.
If you've got stuff that's not on display, all right, let's think about this, guys. You've got stuff in the closet, you bought it. You know what? Especially if they're not video games, you've got like a boxed up store display or something sitting in the closet, or or maybe you just you have all those Wii games, and you've got a nice shelf. It's got all your Sega Saturn games on it. It's got all your NES games on it. But you don't have room to display all those Wii games. So you got them in a big Lowe's cardboard box in the closet. What are you doing with that stuff? Like, all right, your goal is like, well, maybe one day I'll move into a bigger place, and maybe I'll get that 5,000 square foot game room, and I'll be the last gamer, and I'll have all my games facing cover art out on these giant floor-to-ceiling shelves. Is that happening, buddy? Because you know what? Statistically, you're a Gen Z, millennial, or Gen X. Your living situation is never improving. We're screwed. You think you're going to buy a giant house? In what universe are you living? You're going to be living here, buddy. And those Wii games are going to be sitting in that closet for another 10 or 20 years, or until you die. So, can we be realistic about what we're doing with these Wii games?
Yes, I'm going to display them one day, Tyler. That's something that's going to happen.
You're not going to display them. You're continuing to buy stuff that you actually like. So over here, you got those Wii games sitting in a closet, and you're like, man, I'm just really into like the cool 3DO stuff. I just really want like a Star Control 2 and like some of the stuff that I really like that I am going to put on display. The stuff you're buying is already ahead of line of the Wii games, and your shelves are already full. So you're like organizing, you're like, oh, well, I gotta put the Star Control 2 over here. And so, you take off some of the crappy NES games. You're like, all right, I got a Star Control 2 over there. The Wii games are never increasing in value in your mind enough to be put on display. The only way the Wii games are coming out is if you somehow find room for another shelf. So either that means the guest room is going, or we're waiting for the kid to go to college, or like maybe you have some timeline where there is a shelf that actually comes into play. Maybe if there is like space in your house that is currently like noted out, like my kid is 16 years old. In just a couple years, he's going to be gone forever, and we're turning his room into the game room. All right, keep the Wii games. If you have maxed out space in your house and you still don't have room to display those Wii games, why do we own the Wii games? There is joy in owning something and checking off those checkboxes in the checklist, but man, it's just sitting in a closet at the end of the day. You could just pretend you've checked off the checklist, and it's basically doing the same thing if you can't see it.
Hear me out. Rotating displays. Every 6 months to a year, you rotate part of your collection out and you bring something that's in the garage in.
When are the Wii games getting rotated in? What shelf am I taking down to put up my Wii games? The
Genesis stuff.
I'm going to take down the Genesis stuff and put up the Wii games.
Yep.
Okay. I wouldn't even take down the Xbox stuff to put up the Wii games, and I don't like Xbox, and Wii is a Nintendo system. I even like the Wii.
Okay, well, you should take down the Xbox games and put up the Wii games. Order of operations. Xbox goes first, then Wii.
Yeah, but the Xbox set's complete, and the Wii is just junk.
Oh, that's fair.
See, because the set's complete, it feels like it's like, all right, that's like just one thing. It just happens to be really big. So like I can't say that that's
it's like a giant hutch or something that you were forced to take because somebody gave it to you and then your wife won't let you get rid of it.
If I had 90% of an Xbox set, Johnny, I would get rid of almost all of it so fast. But because it's complete, I'm like, oh, but I put so much work into like tracking down every last one.
Womp, womp, womp. Okay, here's one I have. And this, I am so guilty of this one. Tyler, magazines, strategy guides. Not like, look, if you got like a full Nintendo Power set, cool, great. Goodbye, you got it. No problem. You got strategy guides for, I don't know, games you don't care about, like let's say a bunch of Xbox games where strategy guides became like it's not like the Nintendo strategy guides where you're like, oh, I got the Nintendo Super Metroid guide and the Donkey Kong Country guide. I'm talking you have one of like 1,000 guides they made available on the PS2 and the Xbox 360, and they're all from like Brady Games. What are you doing with those? Do you really need that strategy guide? Do you care about it? Why do you have this? Do you have a strategy guide for a game you don't even own? I know you do. You bought some lot of strategy guides. You got 25 strategy guides sitting in that pile and you don't even own those games? You ever going to read that guide? Are you displaying it? What is the point of this? What are we doing with this? Why do you have this in your life? What books are heavy and they're cumbersome and they take up space. And hardly anyone gives a shit about strategy guides. So why did you get it? Because it's some artifact of video gaming? Do you care about this? What are we doing here? Get rid of it. It's time. It's time to let it go, brother. And you, we gotta hold hands and we gotta do it together. But it's time to pull the Band-Aid off. We don't need these things in our life. They can go away.
Know what you could do? You could give them to Goodwill, and then you could go to Goodwill, and they'll still be there. Look at the prices of your strategy guides on eBay. And I'm not saying that like price is the reason you should hold on to something, but you're probably holding on to them because you're like, but it's a gaming thing. It's a vintage gaming thing. It must have some value. Those Call of Duty strategy guides, those Battlefield 1942, Forza Motorsport, like $5 shipped. There are very few that actually have value, especially after you consider shipping. If you have a Silent Hill or something, like, great. You could actually get money for that. You should still get rid of it because you don't care. But those bulk strategy guides, man, it's got to be like a real S tier title to even be worth selling those. Like, throw those out. And same thing with magazines. Mike brought like 100 copies of GamePro to the show, and I thought they were reasonably priced. He wasn't like individually pricing them. He was, I don't know what they were. It was like a couple bucks each, and no one bought a single issue. And GamePro isn't the most unpopular magazine. I think people care about things like first EGM, first GamePro, first Nintendo Power, and probably people would care about Nintendo Power. But all the other stuff, guess what? if you didn't read GamePro, which is 99% of the people on Earth, I'm sorry to tell you, no one cares about GamePro. No one wants to collect magazines that they didn't have as a kid. And that nostalgia pool is dropping fast when we're talking about 1980s magazines. Get rid of that shit. You know what? Especially get rid of the shit you haven't read, and you're just like, oh, I got all the EGMs because EGM's a cool magazine. If you didn't read EGM, don't care. EGM's not a good enough magazine.
You don't care about it. I promise. Hey, you got that True Crime Streets of LA guide? That's like $6, man.
Oh, dude, good price.
Get rid of it. Like,
or wait. Alternatively, maybe start collecting strategy guides because they're such a good deal, Johnny.
Oh, hold on. Should we see if any strategy guides have sold for any money, Tyler?
I looked Prima Brady games, and the ones I saw were like, oh yeah, like Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy's not worth anything. The Silent Hill is though.
Yeah, Silent Hill. Hey, Street Fighter Alpha. Morrowind Prophecies is weirdly got a good price, but you can find bulk lots of like 20 and 30 strategy guides and like $100, $200. Like, you don't want this, man. You don't want it. Here's a lot that sold 100 or 45 strategy guides for $146. Okay. That might seem like, oh man, that guy got a deal. No, he didn't. He did not. What that guy got was a heavy box he's going to throw his back out lifting in 20 years because no one wants that shit.
You can send it to Goodwill. I know $100 sounds like a lot. You know, if you have 40, if someone's actually willing to spend that, but like you're gonna have to get like a heavy duty box. You know, maybe worth
a magazine. You're gonna need a magazine box.
You know, just telling what you better not be selling these individually. Do what that guy did. That guy was like, yes, these strategy guides are out of my house, and I got $80 to show for it.
Yeah, and again, that's that thing I'm saying. It's like, oh well, they're worth so much more if I got. No, you won. You got rid of something. Go buy $100 game. $100. You know how many great games you can buy for $100 that look cool on your shelf? Go do that, please. Get rid of these things.
All right, Johnny, I'm talking to the wrong person here because I know that both you and your wife are book collectors.
Yeah.
Guys, we can also get rid of our books.
But we have nice books.
Like, you do have nice books. Like you have very curated, complete collections of books from specific authors and series. For the rest of us out there, you're allowed to get rid of your books. I understand. Absolutely. We all bought a bunch of books and we've read 30% of them because it's in the real world, even the ones with lots of pictures. You could just get rid of them. When you spent the $40 on that coffee table book for that thing you were interested in 4 years ago, it's fine to just get rid of that and donate it.
Hey, that Dan Brown book you got?
Oh, look,
you don't need the Da Vinci Code. It's okay.
I have the Da Vinci Code. I have cookbooks from like types of cooking I don't like.
You're never going back to those. Like, I had to convince my wife on the cookbooks. I'm like, we can take a picture of any recipe you want, and I'll do the Tyler thing, and I'll print them up, and I'll put them in a little binder for you. But we don't need this whole book. That's why recipe cards exist. We don't need this whole thing. So we did a good thing where we got rid of a bunch of that stuff. But also we read a book. If we don't love that book, if it's not a book, like we're like, oh my God, I love this book and I want to hand it to somebody one day. If that is not our feeling about that book, or it's not in part of like a set or a series we're into, that book goes away. We're not keeping it. So
you just get rid of it.
Even though we have a lot of books, if we actually don't care about it, or if we've never read it and it's been a couple of years and we know we're not getting to it, it's gone. Doesn't matter if it's expensive or nice or whatever. Someone else can have it. We'll give someone else that joy.
Guys, your Harry Potter, your 7-book set, your Lord of the Rings, those giant books. You know what? If you're already a collector, you're a video game collector. You're probably not a book collector. You could just get rid of that stuff because it's common trash. And you're a collector. You don't want common trash. If you want to start collecting books, go get a first print Hobbit for $10,000. Then you'll have something that's like collectible and worth holding on to.
$10,000.
I don't. What's the first print Hobbit? $60,000.
Yeah, it's expensive.
I know. Go get that. Yeah, just go spend $60,000 on a book. By the way, video game collecting, the best hobby. It's so cheap.
So cheap. So
no
cheap.
No one cares. Everything's going to zero.
Man, you want to get really like crazy when you get that Hobbit. You can tell people how like Gollum just totally gambled the ring because it actually wasn't that important to him. And then J.R.R. Tolkien went back and totally changed the book, and he like changed some of the races of creatures. He changed Gollum's character. He changed the importance of the ring. Totally Star Wars the hell out of that shit. Just total George Lucas did before George Lucas ever thought about, changing. So basically Hobbit after the 4th edition is all a special edition that you all love now. Pfft.
So throw out your copy of The Hobbit.
I'm never throwing out my copy of The Hobbit. Get out of here.
Because you have a first print. I know you're a collector.
No, I just have a nice copy of The Hobbit. And again, if you're going to have a copy of like that torn up paperback, unless it's like from your childhood and you love it, just get a nice one, man. If you need it on the shelf, at least make it look nice.
All right. Well, this is kind of an exceptional copy. This is a signed first print of The Hobbit. What do you think a signed first print of The Hobbit sold for 9 months ago?
A signed first print of The Hobbit probably sold for in the range, I'm going to say $140,000.
It's pretty nice. It sold for $300,000. So you know what? All right, you want to hold on to your copy of The Hobbit. Fine.
Just get a nice copy. Like, that's the thing with books. Like, yes, you can go get first prints, but also people do put value in just like a nice copy. Like, if it's a beloved book, but not every book is The Hobbit. Okay, like you're like really into Brandon Sanderson. Like, yes, they can be expensive, but if you love them, go get them. Like Gunslinger. I love the Gunslinger. It's like one of my favorite series of books, the Dark Tower books. I went and I made sure I had first prints of all of those. Like, I'm like, these are my copies. I went and got the nicest first prints I could get. I was like a step away from getting them signed. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to get the Talisman signed, but that's going to be hard to do. So yeah, like if you're going to have it, make sure it has a purpose and don't just keep it because I read it. Like, just be like, I read it. If you didn't like it, like, then get rid of it. Who cares? I hate The Great Gatsby. I got rid of that book as fast as I could. Every time it comes into the house, gone. I'm a Gatsby hater though.
I thought about getting like first print Brandon Sanderson stuff because he's a modern living author. Like his first print, first edition signed stuff like isn't that expensive. Like Way of Kings is like $200-$300 for like a signed first print. Like, oh, it's a good book. But then I decided I don't want to collect books, Johnny. We're getting way off topic here. Don't collect books. You know what? The stuff that I like spring clean out and donate to Goodwill, I had like an entire Calyx cube full of wrestling books. It's just like, it is not worth my time to sell these. I have got my joy out of these many years ago at this point. That's the most important thing to me. You could take all your junk, put it in a pile, and be like, I'm going to sell this stuff on eBay. If you're not the person who's constantly doing that, then that just becomes another pile of stressful things, and it's a job for you to do at a later date. And if it's all kind of low value stuff, like you could pick out the good stuff that you have to sell on eBay. But most of this stuff is money spent under the bridge. You can think of it as an experience you paid for. You paid for the experience of owning that object and donate it to Goodwill. Because how many good deals have you got from people who have like donated, something to Goodwill and you picked up like, oh, wow, a complete box Super Nintendo game at Goodwill for $2. This is crazy. You could give that experience to someone else for that stupid wrestling book. That's probably worth $6. And they're going to get it for 50 cents.
Let me do this for people. I give you permission. Unburden yourself. You don't have to get maximum value. Just because you bought it and you paid money for it, if you enjoyed it, you got value out of it. It's okay. Even it doesn't matter if you only had it for a year or maybe you had it for 10 years, but it's okay that you're just like, you know what? I didn't sell it, but I got rid of it. In the end, that's worth more in your life, the getting rid of, than keeping something you don't actually want because you're waiting for that moment in which you might be able to get maximum value. Like, let's say it's $10, $20. Well, at what point does it become worth dealing with it if you could just get rid of it? Like, if I can't do something and I look at a thing, I'm like, I'm not going to have time, probably realistically, unless I commit something in my life to doing this. I don't have 3 years it's going to be to do this thing. So I can make $10 out of it. I'm just donating it. I don't care about that. It's not a thing I'm going to be into doing. I don't have a system for that. I'm not going to be that guy. So unless you already are, especially with things like books, like I had this beautiful Salvador Dali book, that was just, it was a gigantic, cumbersome coffee table book, like you said, but it's awesome because it's got all Dolly's works in it, and you like see it and you're like, and they're big enough where you can appreciate the fine detail of the art. And it was like nice paper and everything, but I was like, I have hauled this around for like 15 years. I don't own a coffee table. I can't put this anywhere. I've looked through the whole book. I've appreciated it. My wife, like, we can't do anything more with this. I think we've extracted all the joy. I don't know what that book sells for. I just donated it. I was like, that's fine. Someone else this can be their thing now, and I hope they enjoy it. And you can do that too. It's okay. You don't have to get max value.
Johnny, I have a lot of video game controllers. All right. There's two steps here. One, every third-party controller, just get rid of it. You can't display them. No one wants to play with them. Like, what are we doing here? You got like those Dreamcast controllers, like the translucent, colorful ones. Like, what are we doing with those? Every time you're playing Dreamcast, you're just playing with a freaking Dreamcast controller. So what are we doing with these stupid ones? What are you doing with the third-party N64 controller? Are you kidding me? No one wants a third-party N64 controller. Literally throw them out. They have no value used. Like, this is real garbage you can get rid of very fast.
So all third-party controllers need to go unless they say Hori on them. Okay?
Exactly.
So if it doesn't say Hori, the original Xbox had the Logitech controllers, which still hold some value, but you probably don't care about them. But that's like my only exceptions, pretty much. I don't know what other third-party controller. You're like, but this one's got a TIE fighter on it and Darth Vader's face. And it's a wired 360 controller that's totally garbage and doesn't even have rumble in it. Dude, what are you doing? Put that in the garbage. I don't care that it's got Darth Vader on it. I don't care it's got SpongeBob on it. This is trash, my man. Like, let it go.
All right, so if you've collected consoles at any point, or you picked them up at flea markets, or they just somehow showed up in your apartment, you probably have a lot of, like, NES controllers. And you know what you don't need? A lot of mediocre NES controllers. And you don't even need a lot of good NES controllers. You need to go through, find the two best NES controllers, the ones that don't have any scratches on them, everything works, it's all mint, and get rid of the other ones. No one wants to dig through a big bin of the shitty controllers to find the good controllers. So why do you even have the shitty controllers? They are making your life worse. Not only do they not have value, it's just more stuff to dig through. In a similar vein, throw out all your cables. Your stuff is hooked up if you need it. You don't need extra RCA cables. You don't need extra third-party power adapters. Man, if you have a bin of power adapters and you don't remember what they go to, it's okay to throw those out too. Your micro USB cables, your mini USB cables, you need one. If you ever need a micro USB cable for the rest of your life, you don't need to dig through a bin of 100 of them. You need one micro USB cable because it's so obscure at this point that you would ever need one that you'll finally be like, oh, okay, well, I have one. Great. You're never going to need two. You're not going to need different lengths. It's going to be for something you need to do once. It's going to be like, oh, I gotta transfer my old pictures off this phone or something. It's not gonna matter what the length is. Keep the shortest one. Throw out your cables, throw out your controllers. You don't need this stuff.
That micro USB controller cord is also probably to charge a third-party controller you just threw away. So just toss it.
All right, if you actually need, like, say you end up needing... I can't even imagine an antenna cable to hook up like an Atari 2600 or something. If you get into the situation where you have accidentally thrown away your last one, which you won't get into because this isn't going to happen because you keep too much stuff. Do you know what your hobby is? Your hobby is buying stuff on eBay. Do you know how cheap a cable is? If you needed an antenna cable, you could buy it on eBay for like $5 shipped. It'll be fine. I don't know who is selling this stuff. I mean, it's Chinese garbage that you're buying, let's be real. But like, it is not worth my time to put something in a bubble baler and ship it for $5, especially when shipping is gonna be like $3.90 these days. So just throw out all your cables. Man, I have like a rule where if I haven't used something in 2 years, like it's like really, really time to just like throw this out, get rid of it. I'm obviously never going to use it. I know the cable nest you have, the third-party controllers, that is so far past that 2-year rule for you. It's time to get rid of it.
Here is my advice for you. If you can't bring yourself to throw... So if it's like first-party stuff, first thing you do, you got console boxes sitting around, make sure all of your console boxes are full of the cables they're supposed to have in them, okay? After that, anything left over, you don't need. What does it go to? You just have extra? You probably have 2 of that console anyways, so you don't need it. So here's what I like to do. You go to game stores that actually sell consoles and stuff, or you know someone who does resell consoles, they will trade you for those because they need those parts. You don't need those parts. They need those parts. So if you've got extra consoles, extra hookups that actually are all first party and are nice, get rid of that stuff to them. That stuff is actually super easy to get rid of. Video game stores always need that shit.
Are you serious? Will I take my third-party controllers? Like,
no, they're not going to take third-party controllers. I'm talking all first-party stuff. So if you've got like an extra...
Will it take my first-party stuff?
Yes.
I have the boxes ready to go. I was like, I'm in the process of spring cleaning. Like, I'll take it down. I don't even want money for it. Like, dude, you can give me $5 store credit for a giant tub of random Super Nintendo RF adapters and shit.
Please don't do the Tyler thing. Walk in and say like, hey, I got a bunch of first-party hookups. They're all clean. They all work. You guys interested in them? Like, just give them a call before you go down there. If they say yeah, then take it all down there. And don't do the Tyler thing. Give me anything you want. Just like, what can you do on this? And then let them make their offer. And then just say yes, Tyler, because that's what Tyler's going to do.
Yep. No, I'm going to negotiate. No, this is a really clean RF adapter for a Radio Shack generic one. No, those are good things.
Think about all those empty boxes that we saw at the convention that like had bits of consoles in them. Everyone wants those. It doesn't matter that they're a functional item. It's a piece of the object that is needed to be complete because people wore those out and those are the breakable parts, especially the RF cables and the controllers. People break those, toss them, right? No longer work. So you have a lot of these console boxes. Yes, most of those boxes got thrown away, but people are starting to fill them up and want all the nice stuff to be in there. So yeah, people do go after that stuff. I used to deal with a guy who had a store and he was always like, man, if you have extra of this stuff, bring it to me because I'm always selling it. Always, always, always.
Johnny.
Okay.
Let me tell you, we know a couple collectors who do have a lot of space. I would say most people we know have very much filled their space.
How much art you got on your walls?
Yeah, I don't have any art on my walls. I'll say
Why?
That. Because there's shelves on my walls, Johnny.
Okay, so if you don't have room for art, what do you have room for? Demo kiosks or arcade cabinets, Tyler?
I have never seen a game room that was big enough to support demo kiosks. Or standees, even. I know, like, people are like, oh, check out this 3DS Zelda standee. Look at how big it is. Look at this Walmart Amiibo kiosk in my house. What are you talking about? Do you see how big that is? Do you know how big the game section of Walmart is compared to your tiny little game room? No one. You could have a McMansion and your house is not big enough to have an Xbox demo kiosk in it, let alone the little room you've carved out for gaming. I'm sorry to tell you this applies to everyone with every kind of dwelling. The only person that I've seen who actually has a room big enough to support demo kiosks is The Last Gamer, the Australian guy on YouTube, who built an entire building just to house his game collection, which is half an arcade collection. And I think he has a room set up with demo kiosks in it. He's this super rich finance bro. Regular people do not have that much space to have a dedicated building for their game collection. Man, every single demo kiosk is just sitting there. It's not on, it's off. Like, yeah, you turn it on to take your Instagram photos, but the rest of the time it's off. It's sad. It's taking up so much room. Like, what are we doing with it, guys? It's the Sega Dreamcast. It's the Microsoft Xbox. It's like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's probably rare. It better not be the Wii U one. Oh my goodness, right?
Yeah.
It better not be the amiibo thing.
We are also exactly the wrong people because both you and I do not like demo kiosks. We don't like them.
You know what? My first amazing deal I think I got on eBay was an M82 demo unit. Not even like a kiosk, just like a huge chonkin rectangle. If you don't know what this is, it has 12 cartridge slots for NES games, and then like a selector button and 2 controllers. So you would like throw a CRT TV on top of it, and it was to demo 12 different NES games. This used to be a super hot commodity 20 years ago. Let me tell you, people loved the M82. And I got one for like a fourth the price they normally go for from a guy who didn't set his buy it now very well. And I lugged it around for 10 years, and I'm like, and that doesn't even have like, it wasn't like a whole big thing. It was like a ginormous VCR, basically. And I didn't have anywhere to display it. It was just sitting under my bed. There was nothing I could do with that. And even that I hated and I got rid of. So yeah, so having an entire demo kiosk is definitely not something I like, Johnny.
No, and you shouldn't.
Man, and like every standee, like no one has... When you walk into GameStop and there's a standee, it's because they have floor space and they kind of set it in front of like, I don't know, like an end cap of a big shelf or something. But no one has that space in a game room because you're trying to cram as many games in there as possible. So you kind of have it like up against a shelf and it's blocking a bunch of games on that part of the shelf. It's just like it's a mess owning this big stuff. Like, let's be real. We have regular sized houses and apartments here. We're not a GameStop, and we're not owning a dedicated building to house this stuff.
Yeah.
Also throw out all your iMape cabinets, sorry. And I give you special permission. The biggest thing I'll allow, the Virtual Boy kiosk, it's not that big, and it is really cool. And the Game Boy kiosk that has a Game Boy, but it shows the gameplay on a CRT with like a green filter over it. Like, that is obviously the coolest thing ever. I give special permission for you to own those 2 kiosks. And handheld
or
kiosks.
Any of like the early NES kiosks. Like, that's all fine. But still, all right, I still don't even like
anything
those.
from like 1985, 1986, I will allow too, yes.
Like, I don't even like the I've been offered the Super Nintendo one. I don't even like that. I'm like, no thanks. It looks trashy. Not into it.
I'm not into it either.
So... like even the red cabinet, I'm not into that either. Just
I'll allow, you know what else I'll allow? I'll allow the Atari 2600 and Intellivision kiosks, which are very big, but I know if you collect those, you don't collect anything that was made after 1990. So you could fit that in your game room because your game room isn't full of trash. Like, you don't have the closet full of Wii games that me and Johnny have.
True.
So yeah, that just makes your collection really complete and cool then.
Okay, Tyler. What else do we got for him? This is a big one, I think.
Johnny, are you dedicating space to games you never play?
I was a little while ago.
Oh, how so?
Well, I had a giant fucking PVM, which you saw in my game room. And I was like, oh, I turn this on maybe once a year. I don't need this in my life. And now it's for sale. So if you're in the Los Angeles area and you need like a 20-inch super nice Sony PVM, hit me up.
Yeah, you really went all out. That thing, that's big.
Yeah.
I'm one of the regular people with like
heavy.
a 13-inch PVM or whatever we got over here.
No, I had this thing in here and I would roll my little chair over and I'd sit over in my corner and play it. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't care about this. So I put my record player there, and now I play my records. I got a little record stand in there. I'm like, all right, now this is a functional place in my game room. So I'm in here, and I'm making my spreadsheets. I put on a record, and I feel like I'm doing the thing. Much better use of my space, and much better in my life.
Johnny, I built a DOS and Windows 95 PC, and it is perfect. I spec'd it out like exactly how I want it. This is a really strange... It's really hard building a 90s computer. It is not anything like building a computer today where, oh, I just want all the best stuff. I threw it all together. If your CPU is too fast, it starts being like too fast to run games of a certain era. So like you start having to target you get like a 3 or 4 year range of games that will really run ideally on a computer. And then there's like specialty components like MIDI, what are they called? Synthesizers. Are they synthesizers? An MT32. What's an MT32, Johnny? I want to seem smart.
I don't know.
Like, they're called MIDI synthesizers. Yeah, okay.
Oh.
And you need special hardware to connect the computer to the MIDI synthesizer because that Sound Blaster ain't cutting it, bro. I want real MIDI audio. So this was a whole big project for me. I got exactly what I want. I got everything installed right. I dealt with all the stupid IRQs. I had to learn all this stuff about operating systems that I never had to deal with because my dad always dealt with it when I was a kid. And then I get to it. The first game I boot up is Quake because I love Quake and I've got a stupid trackball mouse and it runs at like 35 frames a second and I hate it. It's just like, oh, running old games on old computers is trash. There's a reason that I'm playing my games over here on Steam where I can run Quake at 400 frames a second and use my laser mouse and my cool mechanical keyboard and it's not like a shit experience. And like, yes, I had fun with that computer. Yes, there's a lot of joy in doing stuff on actual Windows 95 and actual DOS and just messing around with it. But now it's many years since I've had the experience. I never play it. I went through a phase where I played a lot of Commodore 64 games on my Commodore 64. I have all this set up. All the cables are routed. I have, video switchers and I like a little audio mixing thing where you plug in 8 different audio things and it has little levels for all the audio. I don't even remember what that thing's called. A sound mixer, I guess. That's all set up with all my old computers. I never touch any of that, Johnny. It's time for that entire desk to go. Maybe more relatably, if you're the person who set up 40 consoles hooked up to one TV and you've got all your video switchers hooked up and you got your RGB switchers and you got your Frame Meister and all the inputs, you got a little note card telling you how to play all the games, but actually all you play on that is like your PS2, your PS3, your PS4, and your PS5. Maybe we can reclaim that space. Maybe not every console has to be hooked up. Especially, you know what? If you walk over to that big wall of consoles you have and they're all hooked up and you don't play something because you can't actually remember how to like set the video switchers to like get to 3DO or something, or like when you're going to play 3DO, you're going to have to mess with it for 20 minutes because it's like, oh, this is a pain in the ass. There's all this stuff in there. I set it up 7 years ago. I don't really remember how it works. If that's the situation you're at with consoles, get rid of the console setup. It's actively discouraging you from playing consoles. I've definitely been in that situation. Johnny, do you know what I have? I've got like my 4 favorite consoles hooked up and then a big empty space with the video inputs are like right there. I've got the RCA inputs on the TV and an RGB input. So I could bring any console I want over to like this blank space and I just hook it up. I take the console out of the shelf or off the box and I plug it in when I want to actually play it because most of the time I don't want to play a 3DO. I only want to play a 3DO sometimes, and rather than trying to figure out how I hooked it up 7 years ago, if it's easy for me to hook it up once temporarily, I'm much more likely to play it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Oh, okay. I believe you, and I'm convinced as well. Get rid of it. Make room in your life. And again, this goes back. Just because you enjoyed something does not mean you need to keep it. You're allowed to let it go. You are allowed to have said, I got my enjoyment out of this, and I'm okay with that. Tyler?
Hey.
Do we want to take the people to the next part of the spring cleaning episode?
Ooh, what's the next?
Because it's stuff you can do around, not just getting rid of stuff, but there's stuff you can do to clean your environment and make it better as well. That doesn't just involve getting rid of stuff.
Johnny, can we upgrade your furniture?
Well, we could upgrade maybe some of it, but I have been upgrading my furniture.
Oh, you've been upgrading your furniture. In what way?
Yeah, I mean, you went in my office. I have steadily upgraded over time. I no longer have a bunch of mishmashed, CD holders from the Goodwill that I bought in 2007. I have gotten dedicated furniture that is consistent and all the same color.
I feel like this maybe applies to collectors who collect maybe of a certain age or of a certain era, because if you maybe collected in the past 10 years, there's only so much furniture that actually is good for like DVDs and CDs, because no one has DVDs or CDs anymore. So you probably have IKEA Billy bookcases or Atlantic Oscar 1080 shelves, because like all the media shelving is gone now. No one owns physical media anymore. But if you've been doing this for 20, 30 years, I used to get all of my shelves off the curb. I would drive around my neighborhood, and very reliably, people who had like big shelves just don't want to deal with their big old shelf anymore. And like all of my furniture came off the curb like that. This is when I was in like high school.
Okay, I'm like, oh my God. When?
No, I'm not
Stop
that
it.
much of a trash lord. But
I feel anxiety right now. Why are you telling me this?
No. But yeah, it was a big mishmash of stuff. Johnny, it looks a lot nicer when you just have all the nice shelves. You know, think of how much you're spending on all these games. Like an entire Billy bookcase of almost any games. It could be Xbox games. It's hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of stuff. You know, maybe you could spend the $80 it would take to upgrade it to a real consistent bookcase.
Your one mid game on that shelf cost less than the Billy bookcase.
Yeah, really, yeah.
But come on, what are we doing here? Yeah, upgrade your furniture, get it nice, get a nice display. If you're gonna double stack, like make it consistent. I used to have, and it's been a long time. You know, my setup has pretty much looked the same for a long time. But I used to have I'd be like, oh, I got to upgrade this because I ran out of room, and I'd just like. Okay, and I bought like this DVD holder, and then like this one, and this one was a CD holder, and then it's like, all this looks like shit. I got to get rid of it, and I just got to commit. It's okay to overcommit. You know you're a trash lord. You're still buying. It's okay to buy the one big shelf and be like, I'm going to fill it up. Because here's the secret about shelves. You're going to fill it up faster than you think.
Very, very true. Definitely get floor to ceiling or floor to almost ceiling. I see a lot of game rooms where people have like the shelves that go halfway up, and like maybe this is an aesthetic choice, but just like, you're a collector. Your job in life is to accumulate garbage, make some efficient use of your space, and get a full size, like what are they, 80 inches tall, whatever a bookcase is. Get a 6 foot tall bookcase at least.
Please and thank you.
Yeah, you know what? I wanted to call this out specifically. If you're using IKEA Kallax shelves for games, like let's fix this situation. Whatever we got going on here, Kallax is not good for games, and it's not good for consoles. They are good for records. That's what they're sized for. Like, there's way too much space in an entire Kallax cube to hold a single console. And if you're using it for games, I mean, come on, but DVDs in a Kallax, like it doesn't fit too high. You can't stack them on top of each other, I don't think. Not that you should even. But you gotta like, if you're in a situation where you have to put some of your games vertically and some of your games horizontally, we need to fix this situation. Shelves are not that expensive.
No, they're not, especially not when we're looking at the price of like what a game costs. And you can go further than this. If you have, let me help you. If you have a spouse or a partner, whatever, some other person you live with, and they just don't want to see your games, if you just go to IKEA and buy Billy's, you can put doors on those. You can put glass doors if you still want to see them. You can put solid doors if you want the display but don't always want to feature it. There's a lot of things you can do. Are those doors, is one door as expensive as the whole shelf? It sure is.
Absolutely,
it sure is, my friends. But it will make things look a lot better. If you're like, I've been doing this since I was 21 and I'm 35 now and I'm kind of an adult and I would like this not to look like some guy just like rolled out of his college dorm lives here. then yeah, you can improve that. You can put nice doors on it, especially if you don't have the luxury of having like your own dedicated game space and it has to be in the living room. Class that up. Spend a little bit of money. You don't have to do it all at once, but you can start upgrading. You will make your space cleaner, more presentable. If you're a single man and you're trying to lure, someone, a potential partner over, they will also appreciate your aesthetic choice. So improve your life. It's okay. You can do it.
What a strange world we've moved into. Because I grew up and my parents basically drilled into me like how garbage IKEA is and that you're going to grow out of all of this, man. After you're out of college, you're going to realize the error of your ways and you're going to throw out all this IKEA stuff. And now we're like, if you want some nice media shelving, you should really go down to IKEA and get some nice, consistent media shelving. I don't even know where you would get like quote unquote nice shelves. Like the only way that I could guarantee shelves would be nice is if I built them myself, which is one, a hassle, and two, expensive. Wood is expensive now. And you need a lot of tools, depending on how nice you're making the shelf.
So there's a lot of things that will, like, if you search library shelves or put shelving into Instagram or just say it loud enough by your phone, you'll see this, like, you'll start getting ads for all these like custom shelving things. And you can do that. That's fine. But people just don't own houses anymore. That's the other thing. Like they're in apartments and like, or hopefully they own their houses or like they're working to buy their house. So IKEA has just become a far more affordable, better option because you're like, oh, I also have to haul around like solid oak furniture. Man, moving real heavy wood furniture is the worst. Not that you shouldn't have nice furniture, but like unless you're stable and you're like every time you move, you're paying a mover to move your stuff. If that's not where you are in life, then please consider some IKEA Billy bookshelves and your life will be a little better.
We have to reorganize your console section. I think I already went over that. One thing I missed was you got an analog NT. Do you have a Mega SG sitting around like some FPGA console to play NES games or Sega Genesis games? Do you have a loose Sega Genesis or NES in addition to that? Because guess what? You don't need it. Like, if you've got a box, you got like an action set, like, yeah, keep your action set together, obviously. But you got like a loose one because you're just like, oh, it's video game stuff. I can't throw out video game stuff. Guess what? If you got an analog NT and you will literally never play that NES again, it's time to get rid of that NES. I know, it hurts. It's an NES. It has value and you're emotionally attached to it. But it will literally sit at the bottom of the closet with the Wii games for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you don't need it for the display credit. And if you do, then have one that's in a box so you can be like, I have this console in the box.
And just make sure to get all of the Funtastic N64 console boxes. Because you won't be a collector unless you get all of them.
You know, Tyler, I decided at one point that I was going to get all of those. And then I bought one. And I was like, you know what? I think this is the only Funtastic one I need. I think this one can stand for all. And that stands at being a really good choice. And I'm happy I made that choice.
I just like not collecting consoles. The one Funtastic console I bought is because I thought it was mislisted because the guy's camera settings were weird. I thought it was like a rare unreleased color because it was the purple one, but it looked way different than the purple ones normally look. And I'm like, oh my God, is this rare? Turns out it wasn't. And now I have one Funtastic N64, Johnny.
Is it loose?
No, it's complete.
Oh, well, that's something. You got the purple one? That's like the only other one I would own, just for the Halloween colors.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, It's mine. You can't have it. I own it already, so I'll never get rid of it.
Well, I think we just talked about it. I can hook you up with a regular gray N64. You'll feel a lot better about how plain it is.
I mean, that's the original. I think I've got one that's complete too, though, so...
Okay, yeah, me too.
I really don't like having one Funtastic. Like, I'm never gonna own all of them, but having one is just like, oh, this would look so cool if it was like a rainbow, though. I $7,000 rainbow.
I got my one orange one. I like it a lot, but I also have like the Pikachu one, and I have the gold one.
Johnny, so, I'll tell you a secret. Orange is kind of a cool color. The purple one really doesn't look very exciting. Like even like the green one. The blue one, like all those look pretty cool on their own. Like the purple one is like, is really
you know what's
dark.
the worst one? We're way off topic. Worst one? Smoke Gray. Smoke Gray. Who cares?
No, I think that one can stand on its own too, because it's like it's
No.
the N64, just a little bit.
It just looks like you got a murky regular one. Not into it.
All right. Yeah, I mean that shouldn't have even been in the series, right? There's kind of no point.
That's not fantastic. That's not fun. That's just gray.
For you
Stop it.
gothic kids who only wear black metal band t-shirts, there's the fantastic Smoke Gray.
Yeah. Hey, are you totally like? Where's the extreme green one? They have like the Donkey Kong one. Like, what's going on? There was so many other colors. Like, hey, here's a watermelon one. Here's a grape one. Here's a jungle green and gray. Cool. Thank you.
Johnny, completely, we're going to go somewhere completely different now.
Yeah.
What is the climate and light situation in your game room right now?
Well, I have some film on my window, and then I have hard slats that cover the whole window so light doesn't come in. And my room is air conditioned.
Okay, hey, those are all good things. So now that everyone is on the same page, we're all doing that, and everyone's okay.
Everyone's doing that? Okay. I also have stuff in a closet, as you saw, a sealed closet. And then I have stuff in my garage, Tyler.
All right, one thing I want to get across, UV film is a scam. And it's not a scam, but you know how your UV film says it blocks 97% of UV rays or 99% of UV rays? Imagine an umbrella that blocked 97% of the rain and 24 hours a day, 12 hours a day, your video games are sitting under an umbrella while it's constantly raining. Are your video games gonna get wet? Yes, your video games are gonna get wet. You could test this. It doesn't even take that long to test this. And the way I've seen it tested, because this is a big topic in the pinball community, because a lot of pinball games are faded, and pinball games are very collectible, and people don't want one that was faded, and a lot of because you'd have a line of them at an arcade, and then there'd be one at the end up against the windows of the arcade, and it would just be blasted, and people hate that. So there's a lot of discussion about things like UV film. What you could do, I encourage you to do it yourself. Don't even take weird internet guys' advice. Get some stupid UV film, whatever you're thinking about putting on your windows, and get red construction paper, because red construction paper fades really fast. Rip it in half, put some behind the UV film, some not behind the UV film. Find some out of the way window and just go check on that. Put it up for the summer. Go check on it at the end of summer and tell me, and then have a control piece of paper that you keep in a dark closet. And then compare the three, because the one without UV film will be blasted, but then you'll compare the one with the UV film that's supposed to filter almost 100% of UV, and it will be faded compared to the one that you kept in a closet. So yes, UV film technically does something, but if you're a collector who's trying to prevent fade, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah. By itself, use it in combination with things, not just by itself. A good window to test this on is get a garage. If your garage door has those little windows on it, you can easily put a little piece of film over one and leave one open, and it's kind of out of the way, and it's not going to make your house look all junky if you just do it in one little area.
Sure.
And you can test this. Or if you have got a side window on your garage, nice little place that's kind of out of the way to test this. And your partner isn't going to see it and be like, ugh, I hate this. Why is this in the I'm not going downstairs to my wife and putting in our big stupid window, our big bay window, a piece of UV film. She would be so annoyed. So
if you've got a video game YouTube channel, by the way, this is some great content for you. This is a summer video. So in September, October, you could post your results, and everyone will be like, "Oh, UV film sucks. Great."
Yeah.
And this includes your WATA and VGA cases. If you're paying an upgrade for the UV protection, and you're thinking that's going to do something because you keep your expensive games in your living room that gets blasted with sun, don't do that. You got to protect it from the sun for real.
For real.
And you know what? I used to have curtains. Well, I still have the curtains, but and sun gets on the side of the curtains and stuff, and some of that was spilling over on my games. You can go just to Walmart. They make like these honeycomb shades. They're blackout curtains that it's basically 2 levels of blinds. So rather than regular blinds, it's almost like having 2 levels of blinds. And they work so well. I have the cheapest ones. I got them from freaking Walmart. I didn't need some fancy brand or anything. They're super good.
And if you want them more custom, you can get them at Home Depot, and you can get them cut to the exact size of your window.
The Walmart blind section has every size of things.
That's the other thing. Windows are a pretty standard size, so good news. They're unless you have like some custom windows in your house, you're probably going to be able to find it at Walmart.
All right. Okay. If you're storing things in like a garage, a shed, or a storage unit, like we've screwed up here. Something has gone wrong. You need to get an AC in whatever that is and keep it on all the time. And if you don't want to do that, we should probably move your collection. You could, if you're a real nerd, you could get like a temperature and humidity sensor to track the high and low temperature and the humidity changes over time. But even things like temperature cycles, like that's technically not good for collectibles. Like museums don't want the artifacts in their collection going up to 80, then down to 40, then up to 80. That's not good for objects to maintain their condition, let alone the video games you love most. And of course, humidity is terrible for everything. There is no set it and you're good way to deal with humidity rather than actively removing the water as it gets in. And that means a dehumidifier or an air conditioner. Those are the 2 options. Silica gel packets, and you put them in a box. You just throw them in a box in the garage, and you think those are going to do anything. It does absolutely nothing. Damp Rid, they make like these 5-gallon buckets basically full of silica gel. They're full of something else. And you're supposed to put them around your garage, and that gets rid of the moisture in your garage. That's not a long-term solution. And I can prove this because they make indicator silica gel. It's orange silica gel, and it turns dark blue when it's saturated, and it can no longer absorb any more moisture. It's super cheap. I've got a bunch of this for 3D printing purposes. Go get some indicator gel and do whatever you think you're going to do with it. Take it, throw it in a box in your garage, go look at it the next day. The very next day, it will be blue, which means it's saturated and it is no longer doing anything. So silica gel is just not a thing. You need an air conditioner or you need a dehumidifier.
True. You need to consider the climate in which you live in. That's like a really big thing because you might be in a more humid or less humid area, hotter, colder. So really consider it, especially if you are storing it anywhere that is not temperature controlled.
So we are lucky a little bit in that we basically collect paper. Like, all right, I mean, like, you want to throw your cartridges in the garage, they're probably going to be fine. And, most of your stuff, if you're storing it for a couple of years or something, it'll probably be fine. As like a long-term place to keep this stuff, I would not keep my stuff in a garage. I mean, I do, but I put an air conditioner in my garage.
Tyler?
What?
If you're cold, they're cold.
If you're cold, they're cold. Exactly.
Bring them in.
But we are lucky in that one of the things museums like doing is keeping their paper in good condition forever. And there's actually a lot of documentation specifically targeted for museum collections on like UV film and temperature and humidity. Like all of this stuff is super important for museums. Like lights, what kind of lights you use? Did you know that fluorescent lights output UV? I mean, if you're only turning on your lights somewhat, it really doesn't matter. But technically, fluorescent lights have more UV than like LEDs. So if you have 24/7 lights in your game room, like maybe don't use fluorescent lights.
Oh, you mean like all those like signage people put up?
Yeah, but they don't keep their signs on all the time.
That's a joke.
But
they're never on. But yeah, get yourself some LEDs. They're not that expensive anymore. All my lights are LEDs.
And like, I don't even know this. I don't care about lighting because I keep my game room in the dark 99% of the time. I only turn on the lights when I'm in there. But like these museum collections environment documents, they go into like what types of LEDs you should use on your museum collection. They're so detailed. It's crazy what's out there because these people actually need to care about like actual art or actual historical documents. And maybe most of it doesn't apply when you just have a copy of Star Tropics, but I don't know, it's still pretty cool. At the very least, you look at it and be like, oh, my UV film is bullshit, which is the main point I'm trying to get across here.
Okay. Good point. It is something to be aware of.
That's it, Johnny. I think there are two more points. Oh no, there's one more thing we could do. I did put a note here. Hey, you got DVDs? You don't watch DVDs. Get your DVDs. What are we talking about? DVD movies? Really? God, you watch Netflix. Let's be real. You get movies on Amazon or something. You're not watching your DVDs.
So we did talk about this a little bit too, but we talked about like if you've just got your analog hooked up, but like what do you still have hooked up to your TV that is like out of date? Like do you still got a Wii U plugged in? I know someone listening to this still has their Wii U plugged in. Like, are you going back to it?
No, me and my friends are going to come over. We're going to play Nintendo Land. Johnny, it's fun. It's fun when you get 4 people with Nintendo Land, Johnny. Maybe it's going to happen.
It's not going to happen. So that's a thing. Like you're looking at those DVDs, look at your consoles, look at what you got sitting around there. Like, and if you're still displaying in your living room, like games for those consoles that you should box up, like also take those out of there too. Only keep your current stuff out in your main living room. Or unless you have those consoles hooked up. If it's not actually hooked up, you shouldn't have those games in there.
Last category, Johnny.
Yep.
Is your catalog out of date?
Oh, buddy. Talk about cleaning that you didn't know. This is the most insidious because this is something you didn't even realize you need to clean. This is probably the hardest work you're going to do out of all of this.
If it's out of date, why is it out of date? Is your app not working for you? Are you trying to document too much? Or did you screw up the first time because you didn't document enough? Like all of a sudden, like, oh, I really care about the codes on the inserts I'm getting because I really want to make sure all my inserts are correct. And before I was just saying like, oh, it has the cart, it has the instructions, it has the box. And now you have to go through every single game you own again and document actually exactly what's in it all. Or I don't know, is it like too onerous for you to update some mobile app where you have to punch everything in on a touchscreen or like scan it in, and you'd rather just be using a spreadsheet or something? Why is your stuff out of date, and how can we fix it, Johnny?
Well, and not just that. Is it cataloged at all? Like, let's go a step before this. Have you failed to catalog your stuff?
Oh.
Do you just have a collection
That's a good point. Are you trying to keep your stuff in your head?
Yeah.
We should maybe fix that.
Stop it. Like it's time to do better and get better. It's time to make your list. We told you about your want list, but it's also time to catalog the stuff you own so you know exactly what you own and what condition it's in. And that's like a big change for me is putting a condition indicator next to the thing you own. Because sometimes, especially if you're packing stuff away in boxes, you're not going to see it. So you have to know what you got and what kind of shape it's in.
Yeah, and I mean, some people like rating it from 1 to 10 or giving it like it's a poor, fair, good, fine, excellent, like whatever. Like whatever you do, what I do, I just have a note section. And if something is like busted, I'll be like, this is completely busted. And the reason I do that is because if I'm looking at something and I'm like, damn, this thing is nice at like the game store or something. And if I look at my collection document, at least I can look at it and be like, oh, I put a note here. This is busted. So I know I need an upgrade for this.
So I'm redoing mine. I'm completely recataloging my Super Nintendo collection right now. I'm going through every single box and I'm saying, what condition is the box in? What condition is the card in? Does it have the manual? Does it have the poster? Does it have the reg card, the Nintendo Power slip, the info, the little info card? And does it have the desk cover or any other object, a phone card or a trading card or whatever that should have been in the box? Some of that stuff I'm not rating the condition of. Like the reg card, like reg cards are kind of impossible. Like, do you own one? Great. Like, yeah, you can put the condition of it, but unless you're really thinking you're going to go find the exact right reg card for X Zone or something, and you just have one, then that's fine. Same with the posters, kind of hard to get. But the cart, manual, and box things that are going to be readily available for condition upgrades, I'm just marking them in a very simple way. And I'm not saying you should do this. You should do whatever is comfortable for you. But here's my system, Tyler. Tell me if you hate it. 1, replace. Like, this is trash. Like, you need to have a better one. 2, you should consider replacing it. 3, it's fine by my standards. Right now, I look at it. It may not even be nice. It's just good enough for me. 3 is good enough. Not good, good enough. 4 is, hey, this is pretty good. And 5 is like, oh my God, this is the top of my list. This is like beautiful. There's a nice mint copy. That doesn't mean like gem mint or anything. It just means this one's really nice. 4 is like nice. 3, good enough for me. And then we just move down to levels of trash. And I'm not trying to get too nuanced, but I can see those as a simple indicator on my list and be like, oh yeah, let me look at those 1s and 2s and consider what's going on with those.
Yeah. I mean, I would, if I was doing something like that, I would only need like 3 things. I would need like, this is my forever copy. This is basically good enough for my standards, and busted, but I'm holding on to it because I'm a trash lord. Like, because I mean, like, yes, I have Super Nintendo games, especially like, I don't know, stuff in the middle of the set, stuff that like doesn't really matter. Arcana. No one cares about Arcana. And it's got like that corner crease on the box because something was sitting on it at one point. It's like, it's not great, but it's Arcana. Who cares? I'm still happy with it in my collection. That's basically where like a lot of my games are at. And then like a lot of my stuff's forever copies. I don't want to get on the treadmill of like constantly like, oh, I could go from a 6 out of 10 to a 7 out of 10 with this copy.
No.
I just want to know if it's good enough or if it's like clearly my forever copy.
So I'm a guy who rates a lot of things. It might even be my job to rate things all the time, Tyler. So I'm going to tell you, like, a 1 through 10 scale is really good at nuance, but for just your average stuff, the stuff that you're looking at every day, like unless you're getting thick into the weeds, I'm telling you, you're going to waste too much time debating between 8s and 9s, and you're going to be inconsistent based on your mood and how you felt that day. So if you can lower it down to a stoplight, red, yellow, green, great. I like a little more nuance on it. That's why I went to a 5, 1 through 5 scale, because I like to know a little bit more. But 10 is probably too much for the average person. 3 is probably fine, especially you've got a nice, good scale. I liked your scale a lot. 5 is working for me, but really decide how deep you want to go if you're going to get into this level of detail, which you should, by the way. And like I said, I'm not doing with this reg cards and posters because I know, or Nintendo Power, I know I'm never replacing those, okay? I could put the condition, but it kind of doesn't matter because I'm probably not finding extras of this stuff. Your carts, your manuals, and your boxes, the stuff that's always going to be around, you might want to consider that.
Johnny, are you looking to spend a long time not buying video games for a while?
I am, yeah. Especially after this expo.
Because the ultimate end game for everyone is getting a system together where you have a picture of every game in your collection, including the components of that game. Because, man, nothing is better than being... Because sometimes I have like notes written and it'll be about like a variant on an insert, and I'll wrote that I have the insert, but at the time I wrote that note, I didn't know about the insert variant. So I don't know whether or not I have something, and I have to go like dig it out and look it up. But if I had a picture of everything, that's the Holy Grail. And that's the Holy Grail because that would take so much time. But once you have it done, it's like, oh, I got everything. And I absolutely don't have that. I think Scott is close to that. VG Collectaholic.
Yeah, I think he's getting there. So I have really been considering how to do that. And you've seen some of the documents I've made. Like I've started building Airtables out. I know you don't like to look at Airtable, but I've started like building out like, okay, here's the base copy. I'm trying to get just base copies, basic information. Like here's the most basic codes you're going to find on all of this stuff. So I know that I'm seeing the right things that should be in the box. And then I'm trying to get pictures of it. And this is just for other people that have a checklist. Like I'm stealing pictures from the internet. Like I saw this complete copy. So then I can compare my copies later. So I know exactly what's supposed to be in there, but I'm going to then apply that same system once I'm done getting everything, the first level of cataloging down. And then I'm getting that picture view. Like, okay, here's everything. When I know this is 100% complete, here's a picture of it, 100% complete. It's in my collection now. It's in a nice Airtable. Collectors is a really great program. I love it. It's super convenient for scanning stuff into my collection, But I think when I go beyond this and I have to have a custom picture and I'm going to want rating fields and everything, I think I'm going to have to move into a custom solution. And I'm not looking forward to it, but I've started building the steps for getting there.
So Collectors is really good. It actually, I think you could upload your own pictures for everything.
You can. Because I like all the variants I get, like all the movie ticket variants, they never have the right cover. So I always take a picture of the right cover so I know exactly, like for all the variants, because I take a picture of the front and back and I make sure I upload those.
So there is a problem with collecting apps. The problem is it's really easy to make a collecting app that's like kind of basic. That's why there's a billion collecting apps. Man, if you are like a novice programmer or you're working on your first big side project or something, man, what are you going to make? You're going to make a notes app. You're going to make a to-do app. You're going to make a database app, recipe app, something really simple that like, the back end is so simple. I could just build out a bunch of stupid features. And, for something like a database app, you're like, I could just like slightly tweak it and make the book collector app, and I could make the movie database app, and it's the app for everything. And all the apps are fucking trash. I hate every collector app. The one good collector app that I feel like actually gets it, because it's like clearly made by a collector, the CLZ, Collectors with a Z app, is really good. The reason I hate it is they got rid of their desktop software, so it's only a cloud-based subscription software now.
No, they still have the desktop.
They don't. If you bought it before, you have it, but you can't buy the desktop software anymore.
Yeah, they really don't want you to be on desktop anymore.
They don't. And I'm out on that. I'm not we're talking like hundreds of hours I'm spending on a collection database. I'm not locking that in. I know you can export and stuff, but there's no such thing as easily exporting something from one app and importing it to another. There's a billion things to fix. And I'm not locking my data in something that is a company that might go out of business, basically.
Yeah. I mean, they've been around for a long time, so at least there's that.
Almost the longest, probably. Yeah, I think they're trustworthy. I just... what if they start increasing subscription prices to prices you're not willing to pay?
Yeah.
I just don't want
100%. Well, I love them. I've been shouting them out forever. No, I get no money from them. And I've been talking about this is the best app to use. Oh, it's still the best app to use. But I am moving to the point where I know exactly what I want now and exactly how I want it to look. And I've been practicing. So I know I'm going to have to move on from them eventually, but there will be, it's like, I'll probably still keep it just so I can add stuff on the fly when I'm out and then take it into my system. But managing a collection of the size and getting exactly right, it's just going to take a lot of work, and you got to be willing to do the work. And the other thing I want to do is, and I've started doing it for some systems, it's just like having a really basic checklist. It doesn't need to have all the variants in it, but people should be able to see all the games that are on the system and know that that's correct. Because that's the other thing with all these garbage apps that are out there. They're just importing other people's garbage, and no one is taking the time, not no one, but a lot of them don't take the time to vet what they have in there, or they put weird, stupid variants in there, and so you don't know how much is supposed to be in there. You're like, oh yeah, the N64 collection is 333 cards. No, it isn't.
Well, no, we got the gray Majora's Mask, Johnny, come on. And we got the Donkey Kong controller sleeve is in this list for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, the controller banana peel is in here. Why is that it? What is happening? Why is that there? Just dumb shit like that winds up in lists. I hate it.
I started doing this and it was taking so long, and I lost interest after a while. I was working on 100% perfecting Game Boy, but like you said, every list is bullshit. So I was looking up each individual game and correcting the minor punctuation in the titles that was wrong. And just having to look up each individual game, it takes a lot of time. And sometimes the game titles aren't clear between the box and the title screen of the game and the manual. And so it takes a little bit of research to go through, 600 games. And I'm like, Oh, this is why no one actually puts in the work to do this, because it's a fucking hassle to have to do this for thousands and thousands of games. But that's also why we don't have good lists. Also, every list should actually be multiple lists. There's not a list of NES games. There's a list of licensed NES games, unlicensed NES games. Here's the PAL exclusives. Here's these weird games. Those are lists people actually need, not one big list of a bunch of NES games.
That's what I'm working on. So with the N64, I've got that. And the other thing is I'm building unique identifiers. So I'm building a separate table that is all the permutations I can think of titles, right? So like, oh, it's Super Mario 64. And then like, or that's like a bad example. Let's say like the Flintstones. So, some people just write Flintstones, Surprise at Dinosaur Peak. The other people, the Flintstones, Surprise at Dinosaur Peak.
Flintstones 2, you mean?
Yeah, yes. So exactly. So I have given a really basic number to every single game. And I'm just like, okay. And then I have it in a table with all the permutations of the title. That way I can set that as one referential table that goes into all these things. So I can start linking things together. That's the other thing. Like you can make a list, but like you have to have kind of multiple tables in which to populate these things to actually create a database that's worth a damn. So I'm very slowly working through this, Tyler. And like I said, a lot of it is the mental work of like, how do I do this? How do I figure out exactly how I want this to be? When will it ever be done? I don't know, but you can see some of my first attempts, and if you want, by joining us on our Patreon, which you can get to by going to patreon.com/collectorsquest for $4, and you get access to all the dumb stuff I put on the Discord, and to the most important thing, the Discord itself, chat with the best people, and our extra content that we put out. Enough of the plugging.
So I think a big, huge database is cool. Johnny, if you don't have anything right now, man, I think a spreadsheet is the way to go. It is so simple. Easiest. You're not going to get locked. I know these apps don't lock you into an ecosystem. They have some way to export stuff, but you can have it set up just the way you want, only the fields you want. It's not going to have some pre-made database with something you disagree with, like you scan your copy of ATV Off-Road Fury 2 and a picture of the greatest hits one comes up in the app and you're like, no, this isn't the greatest hits though. Oh, I gotta fix the picture in the stupid app now? Just fuck all those apps, all those built-in databases. Again, the one that's like, okay, I think is like the collector's one with a Z. But that's closed source subscription. We don't want that. So spreadsheet is my number one. If I had to use a database, I would probably use NoCodeDB, which is an open source Airtable alternative. Or if you're rich, you could use Airtable, but that's too much.
I mean, I'm going to just tell you, if you don't want collectors, which I like, the scanner's gotten much better. All the pictures have updated much better. That thing, they do put work into it. So like, that's the other thing. I don't like a lot of these apps where they just like put stuff in there and then they're never fixing it. They're never improving it. Like Collectors is always working on their stuff. So at least that I know that money is going for something. So I feel good about that, giving them money. But here's what to do. You don't want to spend that money? Google Sheets, man. Let me tell you. Here, let me give you 3 fields. Game title, console, and then the state it's in, meaning sealed, complete in box, card only. You just write 3 things. You get it? Then you can expand on that. You can add as much or as little as you want. But it's 3 columns. And that way, if you're like, oh, I didn't put a tab for everything, because you put the console in, you can then put a filter and sort and then transport that to another list as you get bigger and as you go along. But this is going to fix your life. But start doing it. Make your list. Start cataloging everything. You can spend a lot of time. And Tyler, back me up on this. You get the dopamine from like researching and finding out about your collection and knowing more about your games and their contents by looking at them, listing them, and documenting properly. You get that same day. You're like, oh man, my stuff is exactly right. That's cool. Like you will feel good. You'll get some of the rush and you'll save some money. Spend some time with your collection and enjoy it. Even like you don't have to play it to enjoy it. You can enjoy the process of collecting and become a better collector by doing these things.
So you get the dopamine when you hit buy it now. You get the dopamine when it arrives in the mail. But now let me tell you, 7 years later, you're going to open that copy of Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis. And you're going to be like, oh, damn, there's like 7 inserts in here. This thing's actually complete. This is awesome. And you're going to get to type them all up in your spreadsheet. And then you're going to feel good about that. And that'll be your 3rd rush of dopamine. And then the 4th rush of dopamine will be when you sell your entire Sega Genesis collection. Because you're like, get this out of my house. I'm 68 years old. I can't deal with this anymore. And that's the last rush of dopamine you get from that copy of Mortal Kombat. And you'll never play it because no one likes Mortal Kombat 1.
You might get a 4.5 in there. Like when you complete the list of that system, you're like, I'm done with this system. That's like a little bonus one.
All right. I guess that one kind of counts.
Okay. Is that it? Is that everything we wanted to talk about and how to spring clean and do a little better? We do one of these episodes every year about just being a better collector, being a better you, getting rid of stuff and making your collection nicer. Do the things that can improve your collection like that aren't hard. This is the easy stuff. Like, yes, documenting all that stuff is going to take too much time, but no one knows your collection better than you. No one else is going to be able to do it if you die. So you might as well spend the time doing it because then you're enjoying your collection.
It's the hobby. Literally, like, the entire hobby of collecting stamps is like looking at stamps under a magnifying glass and identifying stuff. Like, this is the whole hobby of stamps. But buying stamps isn't buying stamps on eBay and keeping them in a shoebox in your closet. Like, digging through that and looking at that, that's the whole hobby. So let's get some real hobby stuff, like make our hobby more like stamps. Let's try to make this hobby die a little bit faster, guys. Come on.
I have super bright LED lights that I can put down on like my table. So no matter where I'm like sorting and looking at stuff. So I get like super bright lights so I can see the condition. I have a stupid big magnifying glass that also has lights on it so I can like look at it. I'm like, maybe I should get one of those ones like in your science class that attach to the table and you can like bring it down. But I'm like, I kind of like this hand one because it's portable. And then we were just talking about it with a friend, but like if you want to tell if something is real or genuine, we started talking about print patterns because we talked about the turbo games like, oh, we don't know if Sapphire is real or not. And it's like, oh, well, did you look at like the print pattern? Because it might have a rosette pattern because the way they used to print on paper was layered colors. And that creates a very specific pattern called a rosette. So if you know what a real one looks like, you can then extrapolate what a fake one looks like. And usually if it's a new printer, those colors are all kind of printed at one time, not so much in layers. So you can see the difference under a microscope. So now like a microscope, like a $30 microscope from Amazon that has an LED screen might be something you should invest in. And this like all becomes part of the hobby, just tools of the trade that you can keep around and make your life better and become a better collector for having them.
All right, this is off topic, but yeah, I have a $13 microscope from Amazon, and I love it. It's 250x magnification. It's got both an LED and a UV LED. You can look at individual fibers on boxes. I don't know what to look for as much as Johnny, and I just know to look for the green dot on Magic cards has like a little L in it. Yep. And then all I do is I compare something I know is real. Just like if I had an expensive Famicom game, I would compare like a copy of Duck Hunt to a copy of the expensive game if it was like the same publisher and be like, all right, do these like look the same? Does it look like it was printed the same? Like, it's fun. It makes me feel like a real collector. Like, I don't know, like in the movies, like, oh, look, I'm looking through a microscope at fibers on a box.
This is really common in cards to like look for fakes and stuff, like especially in Magic. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. When Red brought that up, Red the Game Sharp, if you need import games, make sure that you get them cheap from Cheap Games. Contact Red the Game Shark. He was talking about it. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I do that with my Magic cards. I hadn't even thought to do it with some of the boxes. Not that I'm worried about like any of the NES boxes and stuff that I'm getting because I always know if those are fake. But I have a couple of fake boxes that I know that are like third-party printed boxes, like, from homebrews, right? Like not printed of the era. So now I want to go like grab some of those out. It's like I want to pull those out and compare them to a NES box and be like, oh, how much does the print pattern differ? What was the printing style like? How are these die cut boxes versus these ones? So I'm going to start doing that. I do recommend if you get a microscope though, to get one with the LCD screen attached to it. Like some people aren't into that. They want to feel like a scientist, but I'm telling you, not having your eye jammed into that thing and just being able to adjust as you look at a screen, so much easier. It's just going to improve your life.
That's it, Johnny. We've spring cleaned. Hopefully you listened to this while spring cleaning your collection. And now it's over. Everything's beautiful. We got no more cardboard boxes full of stuff. We've replaced them all with really useful boxes. We've double stacked the shelves if we had to. We no longer have the side of the game room. That's our shame because we're cropping that out of our Instagram pictures. And we have a box that we're bringing over to Goodwill full of stuff that has low value, some value, but no longer any value to us. It's just causing us more stress than it's worth. Just pretend that we took a fancy dinner out with the wife, and instead of having that money go to a fancy dinner that's fleeting, the fleeting thing will be we get a one-time get rid of all these stupid books and video games we don't need anymore. And now everything's perfect, Johnny. We did it. We're done.
and you started cataloging and your lists got better and you're a better collector now. Good job.
We did it.
All right, Tyler. Well, this is kind of a bigger section than we normally have. Hey, well, we're not there yet. We need to do a collector's question, and we need to talk about who won collecting this week in the Discord.
All right. I could say Joe won collecting. It's kind of a cop out, right? What Joe got like the world's nicest arrow fighters in the mail. Like the exact thing I would tell people not to buy right now. Like, I don't know. Like rare games are no longer kind of the thing. Like important, like pop culture-y games are kind of the thing, or at least they were for COVID era. And he got like the world's nicest. It's got the shrink wrap on it, I think. Am I wrong about that? It's got the shrink wrap on it, and it has the poster. It's literally probably the nicest complete in box arrow fighters on the planet.
Yeah, there's, a lot of people won collecting this week. We had Nick show off Canadian variants of Zelda, which were pretty cool. Loved seeing those. Everyone who went to the convention, they showed pictures, a lot of good stuff. So we had a lot of winners this week. Joe's thing is really interesting. I've seen an Arrow Fighters before. I hadn't seen all the Canadian variants.
Okay, all right, fine. You know what else Joe posted, Johnny? The Super Mario Brothers 2 Asian version. This is actually a bootleg.
Yes.
But Braveheart was the only person on Nintendo Age who had this or had ever seen it. And it was just like this mythical thing among the 6 people who cared about this. And so it was always kind of like, it's a bootleg. And Joe found one on eBay, I think from the UK. And it was like either a buy it now or no one bid. And he got it and he's looking at it. And yes, because the cover art doesn't look like it's very high quality, it seems like it's a bootleg. But it's this weird, like, kind of mythical grail that no one's ever seen except for the one that popped up on Nintendo Age 20 years ago. So, 15 years.
No, Joe did really well. I was just highlighting someone else. What else?
I don't want to highlight multiple people.
You highlight someone. I highlight someone.
All right, fine. That's fine.
Because I'm acknowledging that a lot of people got a lot of nice stuff, and this was a hard week to win. Especially Joe even got like the UPC Master System games, which it's like, okay.
All 4 of them. Yep.
All right. Do we have a collector's question loaded up?
All right. I don't know. Final Fight CD here with a scenario, I think. You get romantically involved with your mail lady. I know you're both married. This is hypothetical. After seeing your collection, she now knows all the packages she delivers to your house are a bunch of fragile cardboard and jewel case collectibles. Unfortunately, the relationship doesn't last and you have a nasty breakup. Being concerned she'll now treat your packages like Ace Ventura, what do you do to remedy the situation? This is the question we're getting.
What the hell? Tyler, this sounds like a real life scenario that someone has to deal with. My mail lady is like a Latina lady who is elderly. Like, she's like my boy's abuela. She's not like, he runs into her arms and hugs her and tells her he loves her. I'm not getting into a relationship with Maribel. She's the best. In a hypothetical situation, like, I don't know, Tyler. You're kind of here's the thing. It's a federal offense to tamper with packages, and I'm sure all the mail people are coached on that, okay? So, like, they probably don't want to lose their job over this. Like, I think I don't think if it's a horrible breakup, like, she found you sleeping with her sister, okay, and she's going to hate you forever kind of situation, like in this Jerry Springer world we live in now.
You just got to move.
Here's what you do. You need to move. It's over. You need to get a new route. But the other thing is, like, you have to remind her of a duty. Make sure you ensure, like, you can't get a PO box so she doesn't touch it. Go get it at a mail center where it's not going to be anywhere in around a county over. That's your solution. End of story. You're never going to win this fight with her if you did something like sleep with her sister and she's going to hate you forever and she wants to step on all of your packages. All right. Problem solved. P.O. boxes. Invest.
All right, here's the teachable moment. Every package that you package, you should be able to throw that down a staircase. That's my metric. Like, you don't have to be able to throw it off the Empire State Building. You should be able to either throw it a full story or roll it down a staircase, and it should survive. Because, I just packed up a bunch of games from the Midwest Gaming Classic and my carry-on luggage, and I'm kind of gingerly treating my carry-on because I know there's a bunch of nice games in there. But that's because they're my games and I know what they are. Your mail person does not know, like, oh, these are the precious games in here. I better not, drop this over the top of my head. So, for example, Johnny, you had a lot of manuals that we're about to talk about that came
I don't know what you're talking about.
in comic book long boxes that looked like they'd seen some use. Comic book long boxes are long. They're like 4 feet long, 3 feet long, probably 3 feet long. You do not want to ship a bunch of heavy paper in an old long box, because if you throw it down the stairs, it might crack in half.
It will explode.
So yeah, just pack your stuff well, guys. It is...
Yes, that's nice. But in his scenario, even if it's packed nicely, she knows, okay? Let's call this person Holly. Holly is pissed off at you. She's never going to be jolly again. It's no Holly Jolly packages for you. She's crushing them. She's putting her boot heel on them when she sees them. So what is the solution? How do you remedy it? You either have to start paying her, or the easiest thing is you just go get a P.O. box.
Does anyone not like their mail people? My mail lady is just the nicest person. She knows, like, if I don't answer, she knows I work from home. So if I don't answer, like, immediately she waits for me if she has something I need to sign. She's just the best.
Yeah, I can text her. I buy her a Christmas present. Usually I give her money. She wanted jackets for her family this year. Like, I'm telling you, like, my son runs out to her, loves her. Okay. He honks the horn in the car. He gets packages handed to him from her. You don't mess with their mail carriers. When you get as many packages as we do, you better be friends and you better be tipping. Like, when it's summer, you have some water out. Like, hey, you need some water. Do you need to use my bathroom? If you ever need it, knock on the door. I'll let you into my bathroom. I take care of my package carriers, man. You have to.
Yeah, USPS, the best. FedEx, to leave a sticker on your door without even knocking. But USPS, absolutely the best. Please don't privatize the post office. Oh my God, I love USPS so much.
Yeah. Raise your rates if you must, but please.
Right?
People hate USPS. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, their success rate is so high. Yeah, we've all had our problems. You get so much mail in your life that you're bound to have a problem at some point. But like, man, overall, like, think about all the tracking the package and the way it's improved too. Like, you can see the mail that's coming to your house before it gets there. It's crazy how good it is. Y'all spoiled it and insane every time you badmouth the USPS.
It is so good. Also, UPS just lowered their insurance rate. They used to cover $100 insurance. Now they only cover $20. So as we get more inflation, they're insuring less, which is fantastic. Also, fun story about UPS. My wife went there to get her ballot notarized, and it's supposed to be free for a ballot, and they charged her.
Excellent.
Love USPS. Anyway, what was that? This was a very stupid question. All right, hold on. One more question, Johnny. Do you ever have any of the following thoughts about your collection? This is from the Fleo. Thought A: why am I doing any of this? It's time to just throw it all on eBay and be done with it. Or thought B: just you in your game room staring at all your stuff in awe and saying to yourself, man, I love this stuff so damn much, I can't wait to keep getting more of it.
I literally have these same two thoughts every single day, usually one followed after the other, and not in any particular order.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it all on eBay, but man, if there was just like a little... I mean, this comes back to the, like, it's not even worth selling some of the stuff you don't want. Just get rid of it. But if there was like a way, like a little machine, I could just like drop a game in and I got 25% of the value back out of it. you could bet a lot of games would be going in that machine. Like no
Oh my God.
no hassle, don't gotta ship my games anywhere, just like boop, and like $7 comes out. Oh man, we would be turning a lot of games into $7.
That would be a dangerous machine because that would be like, all right, how many of these am I loading up to get this thing? You'd start making value choices.
Well, my value choice would be, I can get a bunch of quarters to play pinball from these Wii games. Let's go.
All right, we did it. We answered the questions.
Johnny, what are you buying? What are you playing?
Well, Tyler, I am actually playing some games this time
No
around.
way, Diablo 4?
No, I didn't play any Diablo 4. Did you play like Ultima?
I did not play Ultima.
Oh, well, weird because this section we normally don't get to do together, Tyler, but we get to do it together. And this is not from Midwestern Gaming Classic. We did this at my house. Tyler, we had the first CQ sleepover, which we invited people to, but only you attended. So that was nice of you. We played Beyond Shadowgate. We did it. We played the game.
Since there are 2 games named Beyond Shadowgate, I'll clarify we played the TurboGrafx CD game, not the new one.
That's true. We did. And what'd we think of it, Tyler?
It's all right.
I like it. It's fun.
All right. I think it's rough. So it's a point and click adventure, very much in the vein of like a
Side-scrolling
Monkey
point and click
Island.
adventure somehow.
What?
I'm like, somehow it's a side-scrolling point and click adventure because you're...
I mean, there are
on the
side-scrolling
screen.
point and click adventure games like this. I think it's kind of rough that this was a very TurboGrafx exclusive. So in that kind of sense, like it's kind of by default a system seller when it's something in a known franchise and it's exclusive to a very obscure console. And it's pretty rough for this to come out after 2 of the most beloved point and click adventure games ever, Monkey Island 1 and 2.
Yes. But this was not... Yeah, it's hard. I still really like it. I think it's enjoyable. It's a worthy entry into the Shadowgate series. But it gets a little goofy at times. There's really a dichotomy in that game of like, hey, this is very serious. And then like you just have these weird goofy moments, including the end of the game. You're just like, where'd that goofy stuff come from? All this was so serious. And then it's like goofy. But why?
See, it's because of the Monkey Island influence. It's because Monkey Island was such a smash hit. They had a fairly serious game in Shadowgate, and they're like, oh, we have to add some really stupid, goofy stuff to it because that's what's popular. Like, there's a ball and paddle in that game, and you give it to a troll because, he gets distracted by the ball and paddle, and you can walk past him. And then a lot of the game is like, serious medieval fantasy stuff, and there's just a little bit of this stupid stuff sprinkled throughout. And it's just like, it's the rubber chicken with the pulley in the middle kind of moment. There's even like some fourth wall breaking at the end, which is very Monkey Island.
Yeah. Yes. Overall, an interesting game. It's an interesting game on the TurboGrafx. I still like it a lot. I stand by my putting it in my collection, but yeah. I don't know if I'm recommending anyone rush out to play this. I think if you like Shadowgate, you should definitely check this out. If you have it, take a moment to play it. It's not that long.
Yeah, we beat it in one sitting. It was a long sitting, but I don't know, like what?
It was
5-ish hours?
Yeah.
I will call it charming because like very clearly it has that everyone in the office just did the voiceover for this game quality to it.
It does.
Johnny, let's just go over I played Uninvited. You kind of fell asleep for that one.
I did a little bit. Yeah, I did. But I feel like I woke up at all the key points.
I will say Uninvited is an adventure game with 60 items and you use 20 of them. I have never played an adventure game with so many red herrings. What a pain in the ass. There's a bathroom you go into, and you could pick up 2 towels off the wall. Then you can open the hamper and pick up a 3rd towel. They're called Towel 1, Towel 2, and Towel 3, and you don't use any of them. Why can I pick that up? What do you do? Like, I can understand if there's a red herring that's like, maybe I'll need this in some way. But there's just like a kitchen with a pantry, and you can go through, you could pick up every single pan, every single knife, all like the flour and sugar in the pantry, and all of it is useless.
It really is. So we were like 10 minutes into it, and you had picked up like 6 things. I'm like, this is too much stuff. This is all trash. None of this is going to be useful.
And then that's correct. None of it is.
Yeah.
Basically, if something doesn't seem very obviously useful in that game, yeah, it's not.
And also the game isn't over. It's not such a big area either. It's not like the game is gigantic that if you just keep stock of where it is in your mind, you can just go back and get it if you need it.
Yeah. Anyway, I did not think that was anywhere near as good as Shadowgate. But also,
No.
I played Shadowgate as a kid, so I do have nostalgia for it.
Yeah, not as good as Beyond Shadowgate either. An interesting theme, but they really could have leaned into the horror aspects more. I felt like they were really soft on that too.
Johnny, the next game we played was The Firemen for Super Nintendo, PAL exclusive. Well, PAL in Japan exclusive. It's not really a PAL exclusive. Didn't come out
not
here.
a US release.
Why the hell didn't this game come out here? This game's awesome.
I don't know. What a good game. Man, this is a game that tricks you. So you think you're doing fine. You pick it up and you're like, oh, this game isn't too hard. I'm pretty good at this. No, you're not. No, you are not. This is a game where it makes you think you're just good enough to keep you playing. And then you realize you have to do so much better. And you have limited continues. You have 3. And, yeah, once that's over, and it's not that long. Like you will beat the game in about an hour and 20 minutes if you're going to beat it.
I mean, because of the time limit, yeah, it's like an hour long. This game, it's a top-down running gun. So imagine Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and all of the enemies are fire. And so there'll be like different types of fire. So it's basically like all the enemy sprites in the game are just like different types of fire. They'll be like, oh, there's like this round thing on the ground, or this one that starts small, and when you come near it, it bursts up and becomes a bigger sprite. And you would think
sounds
that
like it's going to be boring.
It sucks. It's boring that every enemy is just like orange, but like it totally works. It's super thematic, and because it's so short, it doesn't overstay its welcome, which Zombies Ate My Neighbors totally does. This game is awesome. Yeah, I have zero clue why this wouldn't have come out in the United States. It is so much better than the average Super Nintendo game.
Yeah. And as someone who loves Super Nintendo, what a fun game this was. I really enjoyed this a lot. Tyler and I went back and forth on this. Like, this is a game, like, man, co-op would have been really sweet on this.
No, because you play the fire chief, and then you have like your little sidekick guy. Danny, and he's not like Tails to Sonic. This guy, if there's anything on the screen, he goes and smacks it with his axe. Like if there's an enemy, if there's just fire in your way, he's just always clearing stuff out of the way. He's the best sidekick I've ever had in a video game.
Yeah.
Love that.
He is. But I think you could, like, I just think this could have been like a co-op game. This is like a really good, like, little brother game.
It would be. Does the sequel, the PlayStation sequel, have 2-player?
I don't know.
Oh, it should.
That's a game I got to get. I'm getting it. Like, it's in my cart. I'm buying that thing.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a nice one to come up, honestly, after playing this. I don't think I'm going to buy the Super Famicom one. It's still kind of expensive, I think. It's like $100-$150.
But like, go get the Famicom. Like, the dialogue isn't that important. Hey, Tyler, it's a Christmas game. It is. It happens on Christmas at an office Christmas party. It snows and everything. It's a Christmas game. I love it.
Yeah, it's absolutely a Christmas game. If you don't think it's a Christmas, you know what? Maybe it comes down. Do you think Die Hard's a Christmas movie?
No, this one is actually on Christmas. This is it's the whole Christmas story.
It's very similar to Die Hard. You're climbing a building during Christmas, Christmas party. Like, let's be real.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a Christmas game. Love it. What a good Christmas game.
Johnny, we played one more awesome game. We did not beat this one, though. No. Mad Panic Coaster.
What a cool game. This is like another.
Awesome.
What? This is a Japanese exclusive PlayStation game that I picked up because it's got an awesome cover on it. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm like, oh, like, I'm going to bring this one down for Tyler and I to play. Like, I'm like, this is one I should bring down. And, man, it's kind of an expensive game. I think it goes for like between $100 to $300, something like that. You are on a roller coaster. Are you in hell? Like, or you're like, I can't remember the premise.
It's almost like a medieval castle. It's probably hell. Let's just call it hell. It's
Yeah.
like the Bowser Mario Kart level is like the vibes you're getting out of these
Yeah.
levels.
And the game just starts off with like no instruction. You are just going at like a breakneck pace and you're on a roller coaster and you've got to like steer, and steering is hard so you don't go off the edge, and like stuff comes at you and it hits you and it bumps you and you can like kind of jump, and like music is like heavy metal music is going on in the back. Man, it's just like visually pretty interesting, and it's so fast. So your attention is on the minute it stops, because if you aren't paying attention, your game is over instantly. Like you can get hit just a few times, game over really quick in this game.
All right. So to paint a word picture, imagine the Donkey Kong Country minecart levels. Like that level of like kind of fiddliness and platforming, but it's a third person game where you're behind the cart and it's running 10 times as fast. It's just like they clearly made the game and they're like, what if we just like made this game 5 times faster? And they did it and they're like, yeah, no, this is awesome.
Yeah. Check it out. Go watch a video or something. If you can find it, go check out Mad Panic Coaster, PlayStation 1 Japanese exclusive.
Yeah, I definitely thought that this only was valuable because it was like a weird theme and like had like a horror thing going on. No, it's because the game is awesome. Also, like, not joking, zero story, just jumps you into it. It's the most Tyler game ever. It's just like, hey, here's the gameplay. Oh, the level is like the most hardcore thing ever, and it's over in 50 seconds.
Yep. We did not do that well. We played it for what, like an hour or something?
Yeah.
Maybe 2? Yeah. It's like, this was fun, but we did not get good. We did beat The Fireman, Uninvited, and Beyond Shadowgate.
John, all right, this is the CQ gameplay hour. Like, usually we don't have this many games to talk about.
I know.
Johnny, we were considering playing the Mansion of Hidden Souls, and for some reason I said, how about we play D? Because we talk about D sometimes. I've never played D.
We do.
And I also read that it's an interactive movie. And so I was figuring, like, all right, I could use some time on the couch to just chill out and watch, like, some FMV, whatever the hell this game is. I don't know what this game is. D is, like, it's the worst game I've played since Vampire Survivors. Like, it's the worst Sega Saturn game I've ever played. It's probably worse than every 3DO game I've ever played. It's probably the worst PlayStation game I've ever played. D is terrible.
This game takes 2 hours. It's got you on a timer. It's a first-person survival horror game.
Do not call this a survival horror game. This is an experimental adventure game at best.
They bill it as survival horror. I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you what they bill it at. And you've got a 2-hour timer or the game ends. This game the story is stupid and gets stupider. It's nonsensical. It is the shortest game that feels like it takes so fucking long. Oh my God. Whatever they did in Mad Panic Coaster, where they're just like, what if we just turn the speed up times 5? They did the opposite in this game. They're like, what if we turn the speed down times 5 and everything you did was just really slow, and you've got the pressure of knowing that this game ends in 2 hours. It's multiple discs too somehow. This game is trash. And it's full of good reviews, Tyler. Everyone's like, D is so cool and interesting and scary. I'm like, no. This game is boring. It's slow. This is not just my ADD talking, because I'm not ADD, but this is just like, Tyler likes DOS boot. Tyler, this game was too slow and boring, right?
Absolutely. I love DOS boot.
That's what I'm saying.
I like experimental games. I like weird Japanese games. This is such like a weird Japanese horror thing. Like this would be like, an art house Japanese horror movie, which normally I would like. And typically, art house movies are kind of weird and experimental. Usually, if you're looking for weird and experimental, if you like, I've seen all the standard genre stuff, show me something new. If there is something new that you haven't seen, you're like, even if it maybe isn't as good as like a traditional movie, like you can understand why it has value, why it's good. And usually you kind of like that stuff. I very rarely watch an experimental movie and I'm like, well, the experiment just didn't fucking work, did it? And this game is like 100% like, well, this just like kind of didn't come together, don't you think?
Yeah. I've watched Begotten more than once, okay?
It's got
No, this
everything
game-
is pre-rendered, so you kind of it's almost like Myst, but when you're moving between the little areas you have, there's a long, slow pre-rendered movement. I think it's pre-rendered anyway. That must be why it's so short. And like there's probably, if this was an escape room and you had 4 people to solve all the puzzles, I'm not lying, it would be over in 5 minutes. That is how little how few puzzles there are and how stupidly easy there are. Like, if you get a key, there will be one locked door. What do you got to do? You got to use the key on the door. If you get a book, there's a bookshelf. It's missing a book. What do? You put the book on the bookshelf. That is the level of puzzle we're dealing with. And there's like maybe 10 puzzles in the entire game, including the 2 I just listed, which are technically puzzles. It's ridiculous.
It's the puzzles are so basic. It's like a real, if you know who this is, I expect Miss Rachel to come out and be like, good job. You're doing a good job solving puzzles. Like, it's so stupid. The dialogue, the story, there's 3 minutes worth of story, and the dialogue is the same dialogue happens the whole 2 hours. It tells you one different thing one time, and that's it. And I will give you all of the dialogue for this game right now. Laura, you must leave this place, Laura.
If you know, you know.
Leave here.
The same cutscene literally happens 5 times. It's crazy.
But it's like it's not the same render. It's a different one. Like, but it tells you nothing different. It's like the dad pops up again. He's like, "Oh, you're still here. Leave, Laura." And he says your name like 12 times each time. It's so annoying. I now hate the name Laura. I'm sorry, Laura. It's just is over for me. It's going to take me at least another month to forget about it.
If you go on GameFAQs, which is where I go to look at like what did people think about this when it came out, because there's some like late 90s, early 2000s user reviews. So usually you could see like what some middle school kid on GameFAQs thought about it when it came out. All the reviews are like 6, 7, 8, 9. Out of maybe 20 reviews, there's one that's less than 5. There's 1 3. And I don't even think this game is a 3 out of 10. It's worse than that.
I know.
Why do people like this game? A very neat cinematic video game movie. What game did we play? You played the PlayStation version. You had to change your discs twice in a half hour? What? That's crazy. That's worse than watching a Laserdisc movie.
This is not us being like, oh, well, games have moved on and you just are playing an old game and don't understand. We play lots of old games. We understand.
Beyond Shadowgate on the TurboGrafx 16 CD all the way through. We understand old video games.
Yes. Well, like, we understand clunky. And in Beyond Shadowgate, you do not move fast. You are very slow. We know slow. We're okay with it. We remember. This is not that. It's not it, Chief. This is a big F for me. Do not like.
What does D cost on the Sega Saturn? Like $80?
Oh, I don't know. God, what a...
Hold on. I'm just looking it up.
Well,
I've never heard anyone say anything bad about this game, which is why it was like so shocking to me. I don't think like a lot of people have played it that I've talked to, but like no one is like $70. What a scam. Go buy Sonic R instead. You'll have a much better time.
buy anything else. What a bad game.
All you people who love D, yeah, come at us. Tell us what we missed. Tell us the genius of this interactive movie that
We know
made me pee my
bugs are.
pants 6 times, according to one review on GameFAQs.
That would be peeing your pants once every 15 minutes or something?
Like,
no, you didn't.
literally.
Once every 20 minutes?
Every
once every
single
20
puzzle.
minutes. No, you didn't. You liars.
I wanted to see that there's this. I won't remember anything about Uninvited except how many stupid items there are. So like that game will kind of fade in my memory. I played it in one sitting. Like in 10 years, how much will I really remember about Uninvited? I'm still thinking about how bad D is. Like, does that give it some clout? Like,
No.
Sometimes I watch a
No.
movie and like it's awful, and then I'm still thinking about how awful it is, and I'm like, is this movie like? Does this movie have something going for it? Because I'm still thinking about it.
No, you know what? Some people still think about the abuse they sustained as a child. That doesn't make it interesting or good. That just means it was that bad for them.
All right. Well, do you have anything else to say about D? I know most people probably aren't that interested in all of this.
Sucks.
Sucks. Absolute garbage.
Just I hate to reduce a review to that, but it sucks.
You have no taste in art if you like D. Art is dead.
All right. Okay. That's what we played. We played a lot of things because we were together hanging out, having some fun. We beat like 4 video games though in 2 days, which was pretty cool.
It was great.
All right. Tyler, what did you buy?
Johnny, I got all the best games at Midwest Gaming Classic.
Yeah?
You know what? Walking around the floor right on like Friday when everyone was setting up. So like half the people are set up, half the booths are set up, and then one guy had brought like the biggest shelf in the entire room, and on the very top of that shelf, so tall that one of the people working the booth couldn't reach it, was a Telegames Pong. It was the nicest Telegames Pong I'd ever seen, which isn't that nice. It's just a very fragile box. And it was so funny because this was like the vendors were kind of walking around and scooping up all the good stuff as happens before shows. The vendor was trying to actively sell an Atari Pong to some other guy that was like interested in it. And he was like, oh, yeah, Atari Pong is the first Pong they ever made. So this one's like way more desirable. That's why it's $100 more. And then Atari had this relationship with Sears, so I guess they put out this Telegames one too. And the guy that was already talking there ended up buying the Atari Pong. And then I got the Telegames Pong, which is an upgrade for one that I have. And it's funny because Telegames Pong came out first. It was like Christmas 1975 or something. And then Atari, after it was successful, Atari put out their own version of Pong. I just thought it was funny that they were kind of priced the wrong way and the story they gave was the wrong way. But I didn't want to like tell them that like, oh, thanks for giving me the deal on this. Also, you're completely wrong. This one's the first one, but.
Yep. Nope. You stupid boy. You messed up.
Other than that, my favorite thing to do at conventions is look for mint games, especially games that still have shrink wrap on them, because everyone prices them at price charting. Literally everything I got was price charting, or at the most price charting plus $20. If you have a game that has survived 40 years compared to the average game, it is worth a bigger premium than $0 to $20 to me. Some of the better stuff I got, Life Force, super nice. Mendel Palace, Clash at Demon Head. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a super nice upgrade. Zelda Minish Cap, Mortal Kombat, Star Fox, Aladdin for SNES. And then I got a Super Metroid, the only one that doesn't have shrink wrap on it. But I got a bunch of good stuff, Johnny. And I got Shadowgate 64 just because we played Beyond Shadowgate.
Nice. You did it. You did really well. I liked your purchases. I didn't buy that much at the show, Tyler. You know.
Oh, okay.
I was incredibly restrained while we're there. I think some of my purchases will be a surprise. And it's not like exactly in my collector's wheelhouse. I just bought I bought an upgrade too. So there was a nice copy of Jaguar XJ 220 for the Sega CD. If you know, you know about Jaguar for the Sega CD.
I would have bought that so fast.
Like, the copies are always trashed. They're always trashed. And I'm like, this is the nicest Jaguar I've ever seen. I'm buying it. So I bought that Jaguar. I bought, and I know you don't approve of this one, Tyler, but I bought the Amazing Spider-Man for the Commodore 64. It's like it's a big box game. And it's just got a McFarlane Spider-Man on it, and it's really cool. And I was like, this is like my Spider-Man. I really like this box. It was $50. I wasn't researching. I wasn't after this game. I was just like, this is one of these things I'm going to buy at the convention because I'm there and I saw it and it was cool. So, yeah, I bought that. And I bought for the 3DS Tamagotchi Life, which was actually on my list to buy. I had 2 games on my list to look for, and Tamagotchi Life was one of them. And the other one was Emily Strange for the DS. And I only found one of the ones I was looking for. So I did it.
You're the best. All right.
That's what I bought.
That's it.
That's
Did you
all
buy
I bought.
anything
It
else,
was
Johnny?
definitely. I only bought 3 games at the show. This is all I came home with.
Did you? Is there a reason that you couldn't fit everything into your? You didn't even bring a carry-on. You brought one backpack.
I know. So
you lived that Spirit
overbuy.
Airlines life where you didn't want to pay more for a carry-on.
No, I was just coming out to hang out and see friends, and I didn't need to buy anything other than just a couple of things I'd be happy to take.
All right, are you actually trying to not say what you bought, or are we having a way too long lead up into it?
We already talked about it. We talked about it a lot. I bought about 2,000 manuals, Tyler.
Yeah, about 2,000 manuals from Atari up through DS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It was a lot. I bought a lot of manuals. Yep. That basically there was this guy there last year who had a bunch of manuals that I spent like $1,000 with, and I got like a good handful of like inserts and stuff. I was like, I should have just bought everything. And I've been talking about it. I said, I'm going to go to this stupid convention. I'm going to find this guy. I'm just going to buy all of his manuals. I've said it on the show multiple times. I'm going to go there and I'm just going to buy all the manuals because I don't know which manuals I need. I don't know what manual goes with every box. So I bought them all. I bought them all, Tyler. I walked up and I said,
and then we got a bunch of nerds. There were like 6 people sorting through these manuals, and at the end of all of it, they're like, "Oh yeah, you got a good deal." If like after you put 200 hours of work into figuring out how to deal with all these.
There was also a bunch of Genesis manuals in there, and like my Genesis, since it's the second set of Genesis I'm working on, those, so like, you know, missing a bunch of dumb manuals. So I'm like, all right, there's a bunch of Genesis manuals in here. There's like 800 Super Nintendo manuals or something, 400 Super Nintendo manuals. It's like a lot. I have most of those manuals because I'm actually pretty good on my Super Nintendo manuals now, but a lot of that stuff will move. I have this thing called the Manual Collective. I will list everything that I got in that, and then it will be up for trade. We already have people who are like, I need this stuff from you, and they are buying it from me. So like, I'll recoup some of this. I definitely won't like get all my money back out of it. Probably not for a while, but I'm happy to own all of those manuals, Tyler. You know I love buying manuals.
I know you do. I'm the only one in our group who didn't like this purchase. I like inserts. I like generic inserts or like even rare inserts because they're more frequently missing and a lot of times they go to multiple games. It's a lot easier to place an insert than it is to place a manual.
Well, there was about 40 Genesis posters or 30 Genesis posters in there. They go to multiple games. There was.
I would have bought those and not the entire 4 long boxes full of junk you bought.
So, and then there was like 100 Game Boy precautionary manuals.
I do like those too.
And then there was like 50 N64 ones in there as well. So, I mean, there was just stuff, right? It was all going to add up. It was all just going to be adding up, and like all the Genesis manuals, like there's like a manual I needed in there it's like $100 probably. That's stupid Skeleton Crew manual, like that I don't have.
The Skeleton Crew manual? That was one of the best things in there. I think there was a sealed Legend of Zelda map with the big sticker. That's probably
and
the
there
best
was an
thing you
open
had
big
in there.
sticker. Yeah, there was an open big sticker one in there too, which is good. I mean, all the manuals, it wasn't like the weird, it wasn't 100 dance aerobics. You know, it was like all quality, like pretty good games, actually. I was surprised by the quality of the manuals in there.
Is it correct that in this huge lot of 2,000 manuals, there was also a boxed copy of Silent Service?
Yes.
Where does this game come from?
I don't know.
Since I've been collecting, Silent Service just appears. It wasn't even the medium you were buying. You just bought the manuals and still in this box just appears. Oh, another copy of Silent Service for the world.
Yeah, there was like a few boxed things in there too. So there was like a boxed Kirby in there for the 64. Or not 64, for the Super Nintendo. No cart, just like all the box and inserts were in there. So that was But there's a bunch of stuff in there. And there was some reg cards. There was some other maps. So like Super Nintendo probably had like 30 maps. It had a bunch of original Game Boy manuals in there, which are like, like OG Game Boy, probably 200 original Game Boy manuals. And there was a bunch of Pokemon manuals.
Whoa, Pokemon.
Yeah.
Those are common, don't you know? A lot of people bought those games.
They are. Those will be the first ones that sell, I bet.
All right, cool. You did it.
Oh, yeah. That's what I did. All right. This episode is probably over 3 hours now.
It is. Yeah, we spent too long. Let's go to bed.
All right.
It's a weekday.
That's it. All right, everyone. It was great seeing you all at Midwestern Gaming Classic. If you were there and you didn't say hi, you should. We are very approachable. For all those who did hang out, thanks so much. We appreciate you. And for those who are our Patreons, thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to us that you want to hang out with us and spend more of your money and time with us than you really have to. For all those who are just listening, thank you. And that's it for the show. Bye!